Breaking news, it tempers again. Everybody's mad online. Parliament's debating while the comment section's losing minds. Protests in the streets tonight, banners in the rain. Tommy grabs the microphone and tries to stay sane. Left side shouting, right side too. Everybody's certain that their headline's true, but somewhere in the noise another page. Welcome to Tommy Temper, where the facts get checked and the jokes get better. From Canada out to the world's wild weather, we talk it out, maybe laugh together. Yeah, the chaos rolls, but we still remember. Keep your cool with Tommy Temper. Convoys rolling, speeches fly, cameras everywhere. Experts argue nightly like it's political warfare. When Tommy pours another coffee, smiles at the scene, says common sense still fits somewhere in between. Trending topics, outrage storm, everyone declaring the new world norm. But reason sneaks, spasm and a folding chair. Welcome to Tommy Temper. News and nonsense mixed together. Serious talk, but light as a feather. Laugh through storms, we can't control forever. When tensions rise, just regroup and center. Tune it in with Tommy Temper. Take a breath, check the source. Debate without going full force. Disagree, but keep it clever. We're all riding this ride together. Welcome to Tommy Temper, where calm survives the loudest pressure. Truth with humor, that's the measure. Making sense of the global theater. News gets wild, but hearts stay gentler. Stay reasonable with Tommy Temper. Remember, folks, if everybody's yelling, somebody's got to bring snacks and logic.
Who's got the snacks and logic? They're out there somewhere. I know that. Hey, thanks a lot for tuning in. You're watching The Temper Show. I'm Tommy Temper. We're coming to you live from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, here today. Thanks a lot for checking in to see what's happening here tonight. We've got a few things on the war, the big war in Iran there. I'm going to be talking about that with the chat out there. Looking good. Wonder who's out there. Don't see too much chat action happening there yet. ABD first in the house there. Hey, good to see you, ABD. Looking good. Yeah, we got the switches turned on. I managed to go in the background and turn those things on there before I started the stream. So nice to see you. Yeah, on my last stream, somebody somehow set the chat to I don't know, was it 5 minutes or something, or 1 minute before you could chat, something like that. I'm not too sure who did that, but anyways, we'll blame I don't know, anybody. But anyways, it happened. We got Kathy in there. Hey, Kathy Schwartz, good to see you. Pooh Scissors in there, looking good. We've got more people popping in here. Good, you're learning. Yeah. Well, before I went live, like I pushed the button to go live, and I think what happens is you guys get a notification that I'm going live, but before I actually go live, then I have a chance to go back there and set some of that stuff so I don't have to do it when I'm actually live here, which I usually do. Yeah. Never more than 5 seconds. Yeah. Well, he suggested that Luke did that. I don't know that Luke did that, though. I don't think so. But you never know. Maybe he did. I don't think Canada is joining the war. Carney is being like, no, not going to do that. So we're not actually joining the war. So I think Canada is kind of staying out of the whole thing. I don't know if we're actually going to be supplying maybe some military equipment, maybe, but I don't think boots on the ground. And there was the thing that we did get hit. One of the Canadian military bases in the Middle East there got hit, got bombed. There was no soldiers killed. And it happened near the beginning of the month. And it took actually quite a number of days before anybody said anything about it. Nobody in the government said anything about it. And I think a reporter questioned Carney about it. And then he finally came clean and said, well, I'm not the only one that speaks for Canada, was his response. Well, nobody spoke for Canada, basically. So that was what was going on there. But Timmy, that's pretty much the answer to that question. I don't think that Canada is going to be joining that war. Good day from Australia. Hey, Barry Simpkin in there. Hey, good to see you. Popping in from Aussie land. Hey, Canada is buying natural gas from Australia. You guys are shipping it to our East Coast here. It's like we've got so much natural gas and so much oil here in Canada. It's like we have over 100 years supply of oil and likewise natural gas. But Canada refuses because of this net zero stuff. You guys know all about net zero in Australia, right? Because you're part of that Carney clown program with the net zero crap. And we refuse to build oil and gas pipelines across Canada. Most of the oil and gas is over here in Alberta. And, over to the East Coast, a couple of nice pipelines would supply them with product. But the East Coast has been buying a lot of oil from the Middle East. And now we see that we're purchasing gas, liquid petroleum or liquid something from Australia. And you guys are basically, or we are spending a lot of money on fuel. I don't know what the ships burn, kerosene or diesel or something like that. And you guys are shipping that from Australia to us. So I don't know what the thought on that is. Canada is so anal that we're like, not me. Like I'm not a climate type zealot or a net zero type person. But the Liberal government, and they've been in power for like 10 years now, and they've been controlling what happens here in Canada. And their philosophy is cap the oil. Don't bring any more oil out of the ground. Don't build any pipelines. No pipelines to the east. You've got Quebec who says, that oil is dirty. We do not want that Alberta oil, the pipeline going through Quebec. They're like that. So Quebec is against that. And the federal government, they're like a bunch of EV zealots. Everybody drive EV, electric vehicle. We got electric vehicle mandate. You shouldn't be using oil. Leave that oil in the ground. No pipelines. In fact, they put bills in our parliament to cap the oil and to keep the oil in the ground, not to build any more pipelines, and on the West Coast, not to allow any more ships to load any kind of oil, on the West Coast. So therefore, pretty much capping that oil in. And in fact, one of the producers of oil up in Fort McMurray came up just the other day with, I think it was like a $2 billion expansion that they were wanting to do. And just let me turn my mic down just a little bit here. I might be overdriving just a little bit. But they didn't do it. They didn't do the expansion, and the reason for it was because of the constraints by the government. Like the carbon limits and net zero and all the crap that they're trying to put in to make it really difficult to produce any more oil. So that was the reasoning. So that's a good reason why Alberta wants to separate from the mic was good. Okay, yeah, let me put it back up there a little bit. Oh, hang on, wrong button. Okay, well, yeah, I was just punching the mic a little bit there. On my VU meter, it was going into the yellow, wasn't staying in the green. But yeah, I think it's good going into StreamYard. I'm looking at the view on StreamYard, and it's not capping out on StreamYard. I know when I was down in Sylvan, we were overdriving a little bit, and it was popping there a little bit because I wasn't watching what I was feeding in. I think that Roadcaster original one that I'm using in Sylvan punches out a little more than this Roadcaster Pro. Or maybe it's the way I have the thing set up as far as how you can set up the decibel level. But anyways, oh, by the way, Fry, yeah, I tried to put your audio. If you notice my stream that I did, where I was on the quad, my last stream that I did on the quad on the lake, I was trying to put your audio from your Trix FM coming from my home, on the background of my feed, and you'll hear the music in there, but it's just, I think I had it turned down too low, so you could just barely hear it in the background while I was cruising around on the lake there. So it's a tough thing to do because I wasn't able to use another phone and listen to the audio and just hear what it actually sounded like on what my settings, and I set the audio level a little bit low. But yeah, these things happen. Sasquatch in there. Hey, good to see you there, Sasquatch. You have to refine the oil first. Same problem here in Alaska. No refineries. Yeah. Well, we have refineries on the east coast of Canada for light crude, and then we've got actually where I live here at Edmonton four refineries, and they're able to deal with that heavy crude from up in the tar sands there. So we do have refineries, but nobody really wants to build any more refineries up here in Canada. Although in the States, you guys just announced that there's going to be another refinery down in Texas there, I think. And I think that it might have something to do with that Venezuelan heavy crude there that you're going to be able to access and refine in the States. So, that's probably what that whole thing is about with that refinery. Yeah, well, the problem is that when you ship oil, like on a boat, they don't want refined oil. They want like raw crude, so we want a pipeline to the West Coast just to ship that raw bitumen, like liquefied bitumen, heavy oil, to ships on the West Coast. But A, we have to get it out of the ground, and B, build a pipeline, and C, allow ships to actually dock and load up, which the government is going, no, not allowed. We're not going to do it. It has to be green oil. If you ever listen to Carney talk, it's like green oil. He's got all kind of terms that he calls the oil. Oil is oil is oil. It doesn't matter what you try and do, like to get companies to pay carbon credits or something like that. It doesn't make the oil any more green when the company pays carbon credits to a company that you own, Carney, to enrich yourself. And it doesn't make the oil green. There is no such thing as green oil. There is no such thing as clean oil. It's oil. It's oil. You take it out of the ground however you can. And, you don't say, oh, you know what? If you take a barrel of oil out of the ground, and if you capture some CO2 and you pump it into the ground, that makes the oil green. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And carbon capture costs an awful lot of money to do that. And you're forcing us here in Alberta to do that kind of crap. And we're sick and tired of this net zero climate change. Oh, we're all going to die because there's more CO2 in the air. There was lots of CO2 in the air many years ago. It's been proven by looking at what is frozen up in the far north, when they bore down and then analyze the ice to see how much carbon there was in days gone by. So there you go. Cole, I could, oh, cool, could not hear it. Yeah, okay. Stopped in to say hi. We got Fence Lizard in there. Hey, Fence Lizard. Good to see you. Nice to see you there tonight. Fry says it's the light crude. It's for the light crude. Oh, that they're building a refinery. Well, where's the light crude going to be coming from? Are they going to be getting it from the Arab countries? Well, you know, they've got the Strait of Hormuz that's in bad shape there. So it's going to be a while before some light crude comes in. But eventually the war will come to an end. But, you know, is it going to take boots on the ground? It looks like it probably is, because you've got these guys that are maybe operating autonomously, but you think that they must be communicating with the whoever it is now, because you had the Ayatollah Khomeini, and then you had the new guy. What the hell is his name now? Hang on. I even put it on a sticker, but I can't even read it here. Mostaba Khomeini, and he's the so-called paper man or cardboard man. If you look at the memes that are coming out there, cardboard dude. Yeah, and the guy with no leg, and he's in a coma in a hospital or something like that. And I don't know, there's all kind of reports as, is he still alive? Is he dead? I don't know. But if he's in a coma, he doesn't have much to say. So there's got to be somebody else that is directing what's happening. And they're basically still doing the same old, right? If there's a ship over there in the Strait of Hormuz, and they don't like that ship, they're bombing it. They're sending in their the amphibious type drones, the remote control bombs, basically on a little boat, and they're doing it to them. You know, it's like craziness out there. Let's check out our multi-stream here. Our multi-screen stream here. Oh, hang on. Let me just move this over to something else here. Something a little more interesting. I keep putting stuff up on the screen here, and then things change. So I have to change it over to something else here before I do that. I've got a whole bunch of windows open here, and windows are showing some action that is happening, and then I can go to each window and elaborate a little bit on things that are happening. Let's see what is happening. We've got the Board of Peace, Doge, Moscow stuff happening. Although we're talking about stuff happening in the Middle East here at the moment. So we'll see what happens. Okay, maybe this will be a little bit better here. Yeah, we got Trump in there. Trump saying something. Okay, let's bring this one up here. I've got my multi-screen here set up so we can look at a few of the things that I have on my screen here. And I've got 6 different elements here that we can take a look at to see what they're talking about. And probably the most interesting out of them right now is that element number 5 there. And oh, hang on. Why the heck isn't that one showing on the screen here? Okay, hang on. Sometimes of what I do here, I think I have stuff set up here before I go live, and then it ends up screwing up on me here. Oh, and this one screwed up on me. Just hang on a second. It's like when I make stuff go full screen here, it ends up looking a little bit weird here. Okay, so this one here is coming in from Trump, literally named France, UK, China, Japan, South Korea, and others. And he is actually demanding that they join up with the war in the Middle East. and you can see some of the equipment that he wants to have join the war. I'm not sure what the honeypie Blue Horizon element is all about, but this is showing what some of the equipment is, I guess. Maybe coming from other countries, I don't know. Although it pretty much looks like an American aircraft cruiser or whatever, aircraft carrier. But the story is that Trump, NATO, because some of the countries that have been bombed by Iran are NATO countries, like Turkey, just for example, right? And even Syria, and I'm not sure. Well, you've got all those countries like the United Arab Emirates and all the rest of those small countries. There's been like I think the number was 8, but it's probably way more than 8 different countries there now that have been actually bombed or by drones or missiles or stuff like that, including Israel and whatever. And Trump wants them all to join up in the whole thing. And is that going to happen? I don't know. I don't know if it is going to happen. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Massachusetts in there. Hey, good to see you. That's who is that? Lomal Donaldo. Luma Donaldo. Hey, good to see you. Thanks a lot. Coming in from Massachusetts. Hey, sounding good. Boston. You got that those sticky buns in Boston. Hey, you ever been down to the combat zone in Boston? I've actually been there. It's quite the rough part of town there. The fact it's so rough that they call it the combat zone. But good to see you from Massachusetts. Worcester. I've been to a place called Worcester, Massachusetts. And yeah, good people down there. Actually, lots of fun down there. Good to see you in the chat. Thanks a lot for popping in. Tyson Hook says, I thought the war was already won. Now Trump's asking China and others to join the war. Yeah. Well, put it this way. Trump did a lot of the, heavy work, shall we say. And now the boots on the ground work needs to be done. And he doesn't just want American soldiers going in there, but it'd be nice to get some of the other countries that actually need that oil. It would be good to get them to come in there and help out with so-called liberating Iran. And somebody said in the chat that I don't know what I'm talking about. And, I've actually traveled to Iran. So, I'm not like just some dummy talking about this. And the people that live in Iran, okay, are Persian, okay? And the Persians, they practice their own version of Christianity, okay? So the Persian people are not Muslim. They are Christians, okay? And that's what somebody was saying. They're going like, oh, Tommy, you don't know anything about it. Persia is not a religion, but Islam is a religion. Well, yeah, okay, so what? What's your point? The point is that the Islamic regime went into Iran and took over the country and forced all of the Persian people, which the Persian people are Christians, okay? And it would be the same thing as if, let's say, the Muslim people came into Canada or into the United States, and they had enough numbers or enough force or whatever where they said, okay, we want to enforce the Islamic Sharia law and take over, and we're going to install our own leader who's a religious leader, right? And he's going to control the country, and we want you to all bow down and become Muslims and women wear the hijab, and we're going to enforce the Muslim religion on everybody. And you have a whole bunch of Christians, right? That would be the same thing as if it would happen in Canada or it happened in the United States. So the people in Iran are rebelling. They were out on the streets protesting and literally tens of thousands of people were killed by the Islamic regime, okay, on the streets protesting just in the last month or so, okay? And they've been doing the same thing for the last 40 years, right? Really, really harsh treatment of all the people, you know, putting people in jail and doing all kind of stuff. You couldn't even dance out in the streets. You couldn't drink alcohol. You couldn't do anything. The women had to wear a head covering and you know, stuff like that. They were like really oppressed badly by the Islamic regime. So that's what the deal is you know, when I say Trump has gone in and he's trying to liberate the country, that means liberate the country from the Islamic regime, okay? And yeah, Persian is it's like an area, okay? And the people live in that area, and they're Persians, right? Because they live in that area, but they are Christian, and I don't know the exact name. Just do a grok on it there to see what religion are Persians, but it is Christianity, but it's their own version. The Persian version of Christianity is what they actually are. So that's what you have to keep in mind when you're looking at all this stuff. Okay, so anyways, that's that clip there where they're doing that. Now Trump is doing something over there. Breaking: President Trump dropped a hammer on NATO and our so-called allies over the Strait of Hormuz. He told them straight up, if you don't step up to help secure it, I will remember. Whether we get support or not, America handles the business. No more freebies for the rest of the world. So Trump is pissed off, and you know, maybe he thought that just bombing the country would take it over, and that it would be you know, all over at this point in time. But the problem is that you've got cells of the Islamic Republic still in there, and they're really embedded. They've got the stuff in tunnels and whatever, and it's pretty rough. Things are not going really well at all. There's no doubt about that. Okay, we've got some videos here of stuff that's happening over in that area. Hang on, let me just move that a little bit up here. Here we go. So yeah, got some action. Not too much happening on the cameras out there. When you have these static cameras, and some people, that's all they have is just static cameras like this, showing video of different areas. Most of them in Israel, over in Lebanon. Not too many cameras, in fact, very few. But we do see a camera in Tehran there, Tehran, I should say, in the top. I don't think it's an active live, but it's a screenshot there. But anyways, stuff like that happening down there. You've got this one here, which this might be the actual first footage of a U.S. bunker buster in action. This footage from Al Jazeera is from Isfahan, which is in the middle of Iran, in between Tehran and Shiraz. And I've actually been to Isfahan, Iran, and it shows two small ground explosions, and then the entire world shakes. Insane. And this is where they think that they've got the radioactive material for building an atomic bomb is right outside of Isfahan. So I don't know if this bunker buster was trying to blow up the location of where that happens. But anyways, this is the video of that actually happening. So yeah, pretty crazy out there. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, who's that going by outside? Just have to look outside the studio here. Got the big master camera out here. And, got a 3-person gang walking by the house out there. Yeah, okay. Who knows what's going on. So yeah, we've got that bunker buster footage there going on. You've got Trump in a couple of places here talking a little bit about what's going on. Let's see if we can hear this audio from this one here. Let me just pull them up here. I think it's on Windows 6. Now this is it here. Okay, let's listen to Trump here and see what he has to say at this point here. This is maybe a clip from a little while ago.
But I've always said, will they be there if we ever needed them? And that's really the ultimate test. And I'm not sure of that. I know that we would have been there, or we would be there. But will they be there? And let's hope that that never happens. We've never needed them. We have never really asked anything of them. You know, they'll say they sent some troops to Afghanistan or this or that. And they did. They stayed a little back, a little off the front lines. But we've been very good to Europe and to many other countries. And, you know, now under my administration, that began because we had a very successful first term. That began then, but it has to be a two-way street, I think. But
so, yeah, he's saying that NATO hasn't needed NATO in the past, but now he's asking for help from the NATO countries. I don't know if he's asking for help from NATO itself, but yeah, that's one of the things that's going on right now, is that he's asking for help from other countries. Let me just see. This is the way it is here. Trump literally named France, UK, China, Iran, Japan. Yeah, get the help from Iran to fight Iran, right? Not likely. UK, China, Japan, South Korea, and others, demanding that they send warships to smash Iran's blockade of the world's most critical oil checkpoint, 20% of the global supply. France answered first. The French Armada, 8 advanced FREMM frigates loaded with Aster anti-air and excellent anti-ship missiles, 2 helicopter carriers, the Charles de Gaulle nuclear carrier with a Rafale fighters ready to strike, total firepower, one of the strongest non-U.S. naval task forces in decades. This is the biggest French naval deployment to the region since 1991 in the Gulf War. Trump is already pushing armed convoys. The UK has bombers in play. Japan and South Korea can't afford a closed Hormuz. They import most of their oil through it. Iran planned to fight one navy. Now they face America, France, the UK, and potentially more all at once. The blockade is crumbling. Ships are about to get escorted through a hot zone. I don't know how that's going to work, you know, the ships getting escorted through a hot zone. To me, that sounds like dynamite, absolute dynamite, because it's such a small area. And if these guys are on the shore right in that area or on a small island or something like that, because there's some small islands right near the strait, and if the frigates or whoever is escorting a large oil tanker, you know, all it takes is a really small, you know, little drone or an air drone or a missile or something, and by the time they fire it, they won't have enough time to fire back at it and neutralize it. It's almost impossible because of the short distances that they're talking about right there. Global oil prices, markets, your gas tank, everything is about to feel this. This isn't diplomacy. This is warships steaming towards a 21-mile wide kill zone. Yeah, 21 miles, right? So it's not like you're shooting a missile from 100 miles away and you have enough time to go, oh, there's a missile coming. Okay, we'll, fire something against it to neutralize it. When you're only 21 miles from the shore, and actually, if it's a 21-mile wide kill zone, if they're in the middle of that kill zone, that means it's only 10 miles, right, from the shore to the middle of that zone where the ship might be. So they're going to be shooting a missile or something at them from 10 miles away, really short distance. And the chances are that even if they're escorting a ship in there, if Iran has something on the go, and they've also planted mines in the water, right? There's that whole thing, the aquatic mines, and who knows where those things are. You know, it's a tough situation. What happens next will reshape energy, economies, and possibly the war itself. Yeah, we're watching basically history unfold here at the moment. It's like unbelievable what's happening. Totally unbelievable. Let's check out what's happening with the price of oil. We've got oil price coming in here. Let me just bring this one up on the big screen. And I think we're on multi-window 2 here. Here we go. This is where we're at here right now. Okay, so if you see on this screen here right now, you've got a couple of the world oil prices, and they're a little bit different depending where you're at there. But you've got, I don't know if my pointer works on here. No, it doesn't. Oh, maybe it might if I actually click on it. There we go. Okay, so WTI crude is the one that we use for Western crude for North America here, whereas Brent crude is the price that they use over in the UK, over in Europe, places like that. In Canada, we have what's known as where is it here? Where is the Canadian crude here? Oh, I don't know. I don't see it. Oh, Western Canadian Select. This one right here. This is the Canadian. And you notice how much cheaper this is because, you know, like we're virtually, it's like Canadians have a gun to our head by the Americans. You know, I hate to use that terminology, but, you know, because U.S. is pretty much our only customer, and we have one pipeline going to the coast where we're sending oil offshore, but the vast majority of Canadians' oil is bought by the United States, and we're being strangleholded by the states, where the states go, yeah, we'll buy your oil, but you know, we're going to put a different price on it. We're going to call it Western Canadian Select, and we're only going to pay you $86 a barrel, right? Do you see that? Whereas over here, you've got WTI crude at $99, right? So you see what a discount that the Americans are getting on our crude. And in fact, some of that crude that the Americans are paying $86 for, we ship it down to the States, and you guys just simply load it onto a boat and charge your customers $99 for that exact same crude, right? Or you put that cheap oil from Canada into a refinery, and then you ship the refined product back to Eastern Canada, right? Gas and diesel in Canada and you mark it up to regular prices for the gas that you're shipping out there. So we are getting ripped off on that whole deal. And, you know, and I've seen this for a long, long time, and I've thought, you know what, this has to change. And the only way that this can change is by us saying, okay, we'll just plain not ship as much stuff down to the States, build more pipelines out to the West Coast, and ship out our product at the WTI price here of $99 a barrel, where it's at right now, right? You understand how that works. So, yeah, we need to do something to change that. As far as I'm concerned, the state should be paying market value, and we shouldn't have some kind of a cut rate price on Western Canadian Select here, right? This is definitely a giveaway, and this is usually about a $15 discount, you know, most of the time. In fact, you almost see that here. You see, like, from 85, let's say 85 to 100 is about $15. And also the other thing is that this WTI crude is, let's see. Oh, hang on. Let me update the graph on it here so I can bring that over here for you. Da-dum-dum-dum. Oh, hang on. In order for me to do that, I have to go out of that mode and bring it over here. So if we look at this graph, we can see that the price of it has popped up. And the last time I was looking at it, it was somewhere down in the lower level here, like down in this area here, 83. And then, yeah, it was like 94 or something, like on the 13th of March, 95, somewhere like that. If you look at it on the 13th, 14th, in fact, it dipped down there at one point there to 93. But for whatever reason, over the past day, maybe it's because, Trump actually says stuff and that it lowers the price of it because, yeah, we won the war. We won the war. Okay, everyone goes, oh, okay, we can make the price drop on it a little bit. And then it goes, no, we need help from everybody else. And then the price pops back up again here. But one of the things that we can do here, this is the 1 month. If we look at the 1 year price of oil, you can just look at it, okay? Because the price was $70 here. This was in August, and then it kind of melded out here, 62, 63, down to in the 50s a little bit, 59. And then all of a sudden it was like the war breaks out, and just look at how the price of oil just overnight spikes right up here to the $90 range there, $99 right there, $99.49. And this is an accurate ticker here that is updating in real time. And that's where we're at here right now with WTI crude. And we've also got Brent crude, which pretty much the same thing has happened over the last year, where the price was low and then it spiked up to the point that we're back up to over $100, $104 for Brent crude. And there you can see over the past month how it has come up from a low here of about $66 up to over $100 here, $104. And, if something doesn't happen here pretty quick with squelching what's happening with the country of Iran and the Islamic regime and them, restricting, putting a stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz, then this here price could go up to who knows what the upper end is. As far as I'm concerned, sorry, even $100. Let me just have a sip of my pop here. Even $104 is for what's happening in the world, and for we've never seen such a stranglehold of oil. Like usually you see where a country where their oil is like kept off the market, but we've got 20% of the world oil off the market at this point in time. And, we've never seen something like that before. So even having Brent crude and whatever at around that $104 mark, that's actually, in my mind, a little bit low. And I thought that it would pop up to 120. And I think it did pop up at one point to $118. I don't know what happened to the chart, if it actually shows that, where it popped up to $118. I don't see it on this chart here. They actually took it off this chart, but it kind of, when it did happen, it popped up to 118. I was watching it. It popped up to 118 and then it backed off down to in the $90 range. But it absolutely has popped up here now to a point with $104 with Brent crude and 99.61, which is pretty much $100 here for WTI crude. And she's looking not that good. Not allowed to go much higher than that. But this might easily go up to 120 or 150 bucks a barrel, and some people are predicting $200 a barrel. I don't know that I'm going to say that. Hopefully something happens with the war and things, get settled out a little bit before something actually happens like that. Hit that sub button, sub up to the stream, and if you could, please, please, please give us a thumbs up on the stream. Give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. It improves the algorithm, where there might be some more people that will join up here right now, or if they don't join up right now, then they'll at least watch the stream later on. So it kind of boosts the relevance of the stream here. So we do appreciate that. I should actually have like way more people watching here, but I don't stream on a daily basis or a scheduled basis or whatever. And I do like weird streams where like one day I'm riding a quad around on a lake on one stream, and then I'm driving down the highway, and then I'm doing a stream like this where we're talking about this kind of stuff. So because we're doing all kind of a variety of stuff and not just one thing, I think that I'm maybe being shadow banned or something a little bit, where we don't get as many people in here saying hi and whatever. We've got some new people. Let's talk about some of the people that are in here. Oh, hang on. Just before I do that, let me give my stream a thumbs up myself. But 13 thumbs ups? Come on. We can do better than that. I've been on here for a little while here. 46 minutes and 13 thumbs ups. Come on. Got to do better than that. Let's see who's in the stream here. We got Sasquatch in there. We got Barry Simpkin in there. I think it's a trade balance. Okay, we imported your cars. Oh, yeah. You got that thing going on with the cars there right now, where Pierre Polyev wants to come up with something where if you're manufacturing a car in Canada, then you can import something duty-free or something like that. I don't know what the heck that thing is, but it's Trump. Trump is the one saying, we want cars to be built. We don't want to buy Canadian cars. We don't want to buy Mexican cars. We don't want to buy Chinese cars. We don't want to buy even European cars. We want to buy cars that are made in America. We want to make our own cars and have our people that live in the United States buy American cars. And to hell with Canada, to hell with Mexico, to hell with Europe. I'm going to just tariff you guys, all these different countries, all these automobiles and all the different products that are coming from these countries, just to tariff you guys, right to the max, so that you don't even build stuff anymore to be shipped into the States. If those companies want to build stuff, they can come into the States and build those things right in the States. So that's what he's up to. So really, if you have a company build cars in Canada and you don't have access to that market in the United States, Canada is only a country of like 40 million people. We're about the same population as California. And, I don't see any car companies setting up shop in California, supplying only to the California market. The U.S. is the biggest market in the world, with the most amount of money to be able to spend. And that's why China and all the other countries of the world need and want to be able to trade with the United States, because you guys have the money. You've got lots of disposable income, and you've got more than enough money to buy stuff from all over the world. But Trump has his own, way of doing stuff, where he just wants to corner the market on production and have the jobs. And again, it was the old theory of bring the jobs back home. Too many jobs left the United States. American companies set up shop in China, in Korea, in Canada, and in all kind of countries, even Mexico. And we're setting up shop all over the place to be able to build things, automobiles, and all kind of things, and to be able to ship them into the States, only because the cost of labor was cheaper, or maybe there was special things that, subsidies, whatever, by governments. There are all kind of reasons why companies set up shop in other countries. Usually it's a financial thing. Companies operate on money. It's all about the money. You have to understand that if you don't have any shekels in your pocket, you're screwed, okay? You need money to survive. And wouldn't you like to have the most amount of money in your pocket? Isn't that better for you? Yes, absolutely. Unless you're one of these socialists that's like I'm okay with government money. I'm okay with being on welfare, on Pogie, on minimalistic amount of money. If you're one of those guys, well, you know, there are countries for you where you can live. Like Cuba, for example. You could go and live in Cuba. You could go over to China. There's lots of communist type countries around, or people that are countries that are way more socialist than even Canada or the United States. Canada's got a little bit of socialism, but we've got, as far as I'm concerned, too much socialism. Like now, instead of making sure that people are making enough money and that you don't have high inflation and you don't have high housing prices, they're like saying, oh, well, we've got food. We'll feed the children in schools. We'll do that. That's socialism. We have got the free healthcare in Canada. Having a little bit of socialism, like the free healthcare, I actually agree with. I think it's actually a good thing. I can go and see the doctor tomorrow. I don't have to pay a penny at all, nothing, to see a doctor. I can get x-rays, I can get MRIs, I can get like anything, but there's a waiting list for it. That's the price that you pay for socialized medicine. Some things you cannot get instantly. You have to wait for. If you're like really in bad shape, it's instant. You walk into an emergency room and they'll take you ahead of the lineup, whatever. Otherwise, there's a 8 to 12 hour lineup in an emergency room in Canada. And I don't think you see that in the States at all. But anyways, those are the reasons we're getting onto a side tangent here. But the price of oil right now is $99. And in Canada here, we are sitting on just a ton of oil. Just a ton of oil. And the other countries are going, Canada, please, please, please send us more oil. Well, Carney and the Liberal government have capped the oil. They've capped the pipelines. They've capped the ships. Those things cannot happen. And we don't have any stockpile. We don't have like big barrels of oil or, whatever, those giant drums. Actually, where I live here, there are giant drums over by the refineries, right? It's because I'm not sure what's in those drums, but it probably crude oil, where they stockpile the crude oil and then they feed from those giant drums into the refinery and then into those drums again, different products, like gasoline or diesel or whatever the other residual type things are. They make lots of things. There's ethylene and all kind of stuff from it. But anyways, we don't have like a whole bunch of raw oil that we can send anywhere. We've got nothing. We don't stockpile anything here in Canada. Like the United States, you guys stockpile oil for emergency purposes in cases of things like this. Well, we're an actual producer of oil here in Canada, so we're never affected by any of this stuff. And, it's funny because when I gassed up, when I went to Sylvan, on my way down to Sylvan, I gassed up, and the price at the pump was $1.54.9, rounded off, $1.55 per liter, which is a hell of a lot of money to pay for gas right here in Edmonton, where we have 4 frickin' refineries, right? And a lot of that is taxes. We're taxed on the gasoline so much. It's so unbelievable. That's another reason that Alberta needs to separate from the rest of Canada, is because of this overtaxation of the fuel. We produce it right here. Like when I traveled the world, I went to some countries where they produced oil, and it was like where we were paying $1 for a liter at that time, they were paying like 25 cents for a liter. Like in the other countries over in the Middle East where they produce the oil. Now, why the hell are we not in Alberta paying 25 cents a liter? Because that's where it should be. But you got the federal government that taxes the oil. You got the provincial government that taxes the oil. You got the road tax. You got this tax. You got the other tax. And then on top of that, you've got the GST. So, all these governments put tax on the gasoline, and then the federal government slaps a GST over top. And so the GST taxes the tax that's already on there from the provincial government, and taxes the federal government tax that's on there, and then you have these other taxes like carbon taxes and that, because we had here in Canada what was called the carbon tax, and you paid the carbon tax on your gasoline. Wow, Queenie was sitting in the ditch there, doing the axe to tax thing, which hang on, where's my axe to tax? No, I don't know. It's not handy here. I had the axe to tax thing, whatever. And Carney got elected, and right away he knew that it was a bad thing. So he goes, "Oh well, I'll axe the tax. I'll get rid of that carbon tax." He got rid of the tax, but he never got rid of the legislation. He can bring that tax back at any moment, and he's come up with some other 17 cents a liter tax and he calls it something else. But he's such a frickin' net zero green zealot that he's trying to just do it over and over and over again to try and tax stuff. So what they did is they've got something called the industrial tax. The industrial tax. The large emitters have to pay a giant tax now, and that tax just keeps going up every year. Keeps going up and up and up and up. And you think that that it's not being passed on? Okay, if you're a large company, what do? You just pay these taxes and you absorb it? No, you pass those on to your end product. Your end product costs more, whether it's food, whether it's a farmer, with all these industrial taxes where the farmer has to pay for those things, and he tax it onto the price of his food. Why do you think your food is so expensive? And the same thing with, the guy that's producing the barrel of oil up in the tar sands or whatever. If he has to pay the industrial tax, he's tacking it on to his barrel of oil. And why do you think the price of oil is so expensive? It's because all these different taxes. They're taxed from the actual guy that produces the product, and then right at the pump, it's taxed right there again. And we're paying right through the nose for the bloody stuff. And when you see some sort of a thing like what's happening in the Middle East happen, where you've got a stranglehold where 20% of the oil is unable to come onto the market, is it affecting us here in Canada? No, it's not. It's not. The guys up in Fort McMurray are operating business as usual. The refinery here is business as usual. The guy at the pump is business as usual. But you know what? When the price on the barrel of oil goes up, the guy at the gas station jacks his price up like immediately, even though what's in the ground that you're pumping into your vehicle is something that he purchased 2 weeks ago, right? It's at the old price, but he doesn't give a shit. He just increases his price as soon as he can. Nobody's ever done anything about that. So what they do is they jack up the price right away when the international price goes up, okay? And when the price comes back down again, the guy at the gas station is really, really slow to lower his price back down again. It's funny how that works, eh? He jacks it up immediately when he sees the price go up, but it takes forever for it to come back down again. And it's freaking ridiculous how that actually happens. And you know what? You're the one that's paying through the nose. I was looking at a guy that is checking at what the average price to run a diesel truck, and it's about $1.25 per mile. Okay, he pays for that diesel about $1.25 per mile. Okay, so that's actually quite a high amount. And when the price on this stuff goes up, it's it's going up from the $1.25, and you guys are going to be paying more for all your products that are trucked, right? Think about how many things that are trucked, and they truck it everywhere. They truck it on where you see, and it's not just an 18-wheeler where you see it going down the highway, but it's also the guy in the truck coming from the warehouse, bringing the food or whatever it is to your local store, or stuff to the dollar store, or to any store where you need to truck it. Anything and everything gets trucked. It doesn't magically just appear. The only thing that magically appears is software, right? If you buy software, well, it's probably not affected by that in itself. but it might be affected by maybe the cost of electricity is more expensive. Maybe your electricity somehow has something to do with the price of oil or the price of coal or the price of carbon or something, or natural gas, because all of those products are affected by that. If you're out in the East Coast there, you might be heating your home with heating oil. You know, what? You've got a blockade over in the Middle East, and you're paying more for heating oil that might be coming from Canada, right? From us up here in Alberta, you know, but it has nothing to do with the Middle East, but because the price of the crude has gone up on the WTI scale, what we're looking at right here, $99. And I would say that if this is not resolved in the Middle East here in a really, really, really short period of time, you're going to see this price go up. It's at $99 right now. It's Sunday here today, and tomorrow is another trading day. The markets are going to open up. Trump needs help. He needs help from a whole bunch of other countries. You've got a few countries that are helping him out. You've got, France and the UK that have said, yeah, okay, we'll come to bat and help you out. Are they actually going to put boots on the ground? Is Trump going to put boots on the ground? Are you going to need boots on the ground in order to solve this problem? I think that you probably are. You need to get in there, and you need to scour that area that is in the southern part of Iran that is close to the strait to make sure that you don't have bunkers completely filled up with stuff there that they're able to shoot the boats, to blow up the boats and stuff like that. Like, it's like craziness. Iranian combat power declines as U.S. dominance builds up vast swaths in Iran. And here's a bit of a video here on my number 3 here. Let me just bring this up here. Yeah, here's a shot unclassified, and it's some of what's going on here, some of the bombing. This looks like it's done by probably airplane, looking at the method that they're using to aim the target here and to just blow the smithereens out of the target. Not sure what these targets are, but this is from U.S. Central Command on X, and it is labeled Iranian combat power declines as U.S. dominance builds over vast swaths of Iran. So they're definitely blowing up stuff, and it's looking pretty crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's crazy. What say you? Matt on Peter says it will call World War III. Well, I don't think it's really World War III. Because Iran, it wasn't like, remember World War II was, definitely Germany was absolutely taking over other countries and, like moving territory, moving tanks in or whatever. This isn't really where Iran is taking over other countries, but just plain sending bombs and drones and stuff like that over and bombing other countries' resources. Iran is not really per se taking over anything, other than they might have cells and whatever over in places like Lebanon and whatever. So is it World War III? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that the Islamic regime has to be taken over. And really, there are a lot of parallels between the Islamic regime and what's happening in Iran and Germany, because think of it, Hitler was trying to exterminate the Jews, right? He was sending them to concentration camps and gassing the people and then burning their bodies, basically, doing them in. And the Islamic regime is doing the same thing to their own people, and really, it's not the people that are pro-Islamic regime that they're getting rid of. It's the Persian people that are like anti-Islamic regime. Those are the people that he's basically, they're out there protesting on the streets, and they're just basically going out there with weapons and just, neutralizing those people. So yeah, it's there's a lot of parallels there. So when you have a regime like that is just plain decimating so many people, do you allow that to happen? Like, really, in your mind, do you think it's a good thing? No, it's not. And you want it to cease. And that's why you see so many people, like in Toronto. If you looked at and I actually did a restream of that from Travel Fund 69 on Saturday, where you had literally thousands of Persian Iranian people on the streets of Toronto protesting, thanking Trump for what he has done, right? So the people actually love that Trump is doing that, and they call it liberation. They're being liberated from the Islamic regime. And there are so many people that have actually bailed from Iran and moved to places like Canada and other places in the world. And there's so many of them that have left Iran that you have literally thousands and thousands of them that end up showing up at a protest on a Saturday in places like Toronto. And the same thing with where I live here in Edmonton and Vancouver and all the major cities here in Canada. I don't know whether probably in the States too. I don't follow exactly how many Iranian protests are happening in the States, but you can bet that it's happening down there too. And then, of course, you've got the anti-protesters, which are the Palestinians, probably, who basically have a hate on for Israel, which Israel and the United States are the two countries that are, working on this whole effort. But yeah, that's a bit of the video from what's happening on there. Let's see. Tyson says, guess that Trump won't put boots on the ground. Talking point is useless now too. I don't know. This is where we're at here right now. He's basically used his firepower, as much as he can to neutralize everything that he can. And if they're still able to send little boat drones and stuff like that to blow up boats in the Gulf there, in the Strait rather, then you've got to do something. And what else can you do other than put boots on the ground and go in there and, fight them one-on-one, clear out that whole area that is really close to the shore there, because that's where they're able to launch those little drones. And they've got those things hidden underground in bunkers somewhere in that area. And obviously they haven't been found yet because they're still able to launch that kind of stuff. And they not only have drones, like aquatic drones, but they've got mines in there, aquatic mines underground. And it is pretty bad. Got this clip here. This is one big one here. Breaking, massive non-nuclear explosion, but just check it out. The QOM, QOM, is Iran's clerical capital. Lots of speculation that the USA has used its 30,000 pound GBU 57AB massive ordnance called the Penetrator, the Massive Ordnance Penetrator, MOP as it's known in the industry, which has rarely been used and can penetrate 200 feet into the earth. And yeah, check that out. Oh, actually, I've got it clipped off a little bit there. But you can see the plane that is being used to drop that bomb. And yeah, it's some pretty heavy duty stuff down there. Very heavy duty. Got this Hang on a second here. Oh, well. Anyways, you get the clip of it here. You get the idea of what's going on. Just look at that thing there. He's got his camera all over the place there. Because I think he got shaken up by that thing. Probably some kind of a shockwave or something hit the guy that's actually doing the video. But look at that thing. It's like a nuclear explosion. 30,000 pound ordnance. Wow. Unfrickin' believable. Now that is probably to get something like, I don't know, it's their clerical capital. Qom, QOM is the place in Iran where they set that off. So if it's a clerical capital, who are they trying to destroy there? They're trying to destroy the Islamic regime. You'd think that something like that, if they're trying to penetrate, well, the regime might be 200 feet into the earth, yeah, because they're in underground bunkers, you know. So that's where the people that are still running the show in Iran are. They're underground, and he wasn't underground. The Ayatollah Khomeini was above ground at some kind of a meeting with a whole bunch of other ministers or whatever you want to call them when that happened. But whoever is running the show now is probably deep underground, so that's probably why they set that particular one off. Amazing video here. Unbelievable. What next? What next? Let's see what our good friend Alex Jones has to say about this whole thing. I didn't listen to this, but Alex Jones, he seems to think, and he's saying World War IV has begun. World War IV? Where's World War III? Hang on, did we miss one of them or something? But he's saying this is World War IV. Trump calls for an international coalition to send troops and ships to the Middle East after Iran pledged to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed indefinitely. Meanwhile, Cubans set fire to the Communist Party headquarters as all signs point towards the fall of the communist regime. At the same time, hundreds of reporters have been arrested across the Middle East, including in Israel, for reporting on the destruction. So lots of stuff going on there. Let's listen to this clip here.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the good news is I supported regime change in Venezuela. I said it was very dangerous, but it was in our hemisphere. Gunboat diplomacy, Monroe Doctrine, Barbary War precedent, and Thomas Jefferson. I understood that China, through Cuba, through Venezuela, was controlling Mexico and the cartels. And I said it's very dangerous, but if Trump can pull it off, then I support it. And they've gotten rid of Maduro. They haven't quite pulled it off, but it's going pretty well right now. They just hoisted the U.S. flag to Marine base there in Caracas for the first time in 20-something years. And they've torched, and I'll post the video here, the Communist Party HQ in Cuba. This has happened in Havana and the other major cities. And Cuba, for the first time in 60 years, is trying to negotiate with the U.S. So I understand why Trump is doing all this. He believes it's right. But letting Israel manipulate us into this Iran war, when we should have just dealt with our own hemisphere first, was a terrible decision. And whether the war was right or wrong, we shouldn't have a foreign power, an AIPAC, manipulating our Congress. And they brag they do it. And now the ADL head is out saying they want to censor anybody that says Israel pushed this war. What are you talking about? Israel's bragging about it. Everybody knows I don't have some hard on for Israel. I don't want to blow up Israel, but my God, Israel, you're out of control with Netanyahu. This is crazy. First Gaza and all that, and now this. So I'm seeing posts everywhere by right-wing influencers that, Iran wants to give up, but Trump won't let them. Notice there's no source there. It's made up. Iran's willing to die. The mullahs are crazy. They said they'd block the strait. They passed a law 9 months ago during Midnight Hammer after it's saying they'd block it if we did. They're going to attack anybody's ships that come in. You can't stop them with artillery and missiles and drones sinking ships in the Strait, where 27% of world energy goes through every day. And so, yeah, it puts pressure on China and India, but pressure on them to come against the United States. And now Trump's at the panic button asking them all to come to our aid. This is not a good position for our country. Trump ignored the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. He ignored Eric Prince. He ignored me. He ignored people that are not doves, who are American patriots, but who also want us to win. And he listened to Lindsey Graham, who's a lawyer from the Pentagon, who can't find his ass with both hands. He listened to Netanyahu, who was only thinking about Israeli interest. Now they've got a criminal investigation with Tucker Carlson, trying to get him arrested for interviewing and talking to the Iranians. This is so un-American. This is so dangerous. Claiming he's a foreign agent with no evidence. But look at Israel, the foreign agents, openly bragging they run our foreign policy. And now want to censor the American people. This is just crazy. So when I call this World War IV, that's the term the CIA uses. This is World War IV. It's economic, it's military, it's obviously kinetic component, and it's out of control. And now, unfortunately, Trump can't declare a victory like he's been doing for a week and saying it's over. We've already obliterated Iran, because they aren't obliterated. Yeah, their offensive military is, but not their ability to close the Strait of Hormuz. So that's why this is so dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. And this is going to go from bad to worse very, very quickly. And Netanyahu is not incapable of staging a false flag as well and claiming it's Iranian sleeper cells. But Iran has said they're going to activate their asymmetrical operations in a press release put out by the Ayatollah, who we don't know if he's alive or not, but by their government 4 days ago. So, and imagine if all these international ships from the U.S. and France are going around the strait and one gets sunk by these Chinese anti-ship missiles that are hypersonic we can't stop, then Americans are going to go crazy and want full war. And the Marines, the Army are ready to go in. Full invasion of Iran. And just as the general that got fired, back under Obama, who said, don't go in. If you thought Iran, or if you thought Iraq and Afghanistan were bad, you're going to love Iran. That's where we are, folks. This is really dangerous stuff. And puffing up and then just saying we're invincible and saying Iran's trying to capitulate when it's not true doesn't cut it. This is not the time for bullshit. This is the time for reality. So when you see all these posts about Iran's trying to surrender, notice there's no source there. The Iranians are saying the opposite and doing the opposite. They're emboldened. You're like, but they're getting destroyed. They don't care. We killed 2 million of them in the Iran-Iraq war and only made them stronger. Did we win Vietnam? Did King George beat George Washington and us, even though their force had never been defeated before? Was 10 times bigger than ours? No, because we persevered. And now we've made Iran the underdog. So we're in a very dangerous phase right now. Pray for diplomacy. Pray to end this thing immediately. Iran's offensive forces have been destroyed. Israel does not have any enemies that can really hurt it anymore at any great level. And now Israel's already saying they want to attack Turkey now. I mean, it's crazy. And admitting, yeah, it's Greater Israel to antagonize the Arabs.
Didn't hear that
Israel
one.
literally only thinks about itself. And what's weird is they're not thinking about themselves, because everything else happening is going to destroy Israel in the end. And then they got nukes, and that could trigger the other world. It's like insane. Everybody's celebrating thinking Netanyahu's dead. I hope he's not, because then it makes him a martyr. Use your brains, people. Did Hitler bombing England and civilians in the Blitz make them give up? No. The Iranians were against the Middle East. Now the majority are for them, the numbers are showing, because of the bombing. Blowing up girls' schools and stuff. Now they admit it was the Pentagon targeted the wrong building. Good for the Pentagon admitting it to Congress. But, I mean, this is just out of control, folks. It's out of control. Cut
that was
war
a mistake.
Propaganda, get to reality. They said the first casualty of war is the truth, and it is right now. And I'm just here trying to tell you the truth, trying to get things right, and trying to save our country and the world. Please follow me on X, Real Alex Jones, and at AJN Live for the Backup Network. More reports coming. Thank you. Trump, shut this down now. Shut it down now.
Okay, and we've got this clip here, which I think is I don't know, but I think this might be Cuba, because I know that he was talking about action in Cuba.
Mira, le dieron a uno, mira, después dicen que no tira. Le dieron un tiro a uno. Le dieron un tiro, mira.
The old political order is collapsing.
Watch this again.
Libertad, libertad, libertad, libertad, libertad.
Holy. Okay, let me hang on.
New system is forming.
It's going berserk here. Okay, let me get out of there. Bring me back in here again, so I can clear that screen up. Put up something else. Yeah, it's looking bad, But actually, of what we just saw there, if that was a clip from Cuba, if that's true, where they're firebombing the let's see, what was it? Some kind of a police station or government office or something like that in Cuba. Then it looks like the people are starting to revolt against the government, which is going to make it easier for Trump to shall we say, democratize the country, which is what he wants to see. You know, you don't want to see just one ruler and being a I don't know what you call that country, a Marxist country or dictatorship or whatever. You know, there's always variations from the original with every one of these countries, and they go, oh, communism. No, you talk to the guy out of the street that's promoting communism. No, the communism that we're promoting is different than the communism that's happened before. Different than what happened in Russia. Different than what happened in Bulgaria or the East Bloc in of Europe. It's like, different than China. Yeah, our communism, Marxism, whatever, is a more improved version where basically we all work for the government, And some numbers just came out here just lately about government in Canada here. And you know that in Canada, of the people that are working in Canada, 1 out of 4 people work for the frickin' government. How bad is that? Like, what is that? Is that not socialism? Like, come on. And you know that when you work for the government, you produce nothing, zero, zilch, nothing at all. All you're doing is you're sucking revenue from the taxpayers, because who has to pay you when you work for the government? The taxpayer. So they're sucking money out of the real workers that are actually producing something and are actually doing stuff, right? They're sucking money out of everybody's wallet in order to pay those people that are hanging around the water cooler talking about, the war in Iran and stuff like that and what's happening, wasting, the people that are on the labor unions, right? They're all unionized, those government workers, and they know they're not going to lose their job. It's like the safest job in the world is to work for the government, right? Unless, the government says, oh, you know what? We're discovering that we're paying too many workers and we're spending billions and billions and billions of dollars on projects all over the place, so we don't have enough money. So we're going to have to cut down on government. But are we going to axe some people? No, we're just going to, I think it's called attrition, where when somebody retires from the government, you just don't hire somebody to replace them, right? They're going to try and cut down on the number of government employees by doing some shit like that, But yeah, it's a big joke. And, the governments all the time say, whoa, we've increased the number of workers, and you look at it and you go, yeah, are those private sector workers or are they public sector workers, And it's like always a lot of public sector workers. And you know what? In the last month in Canada, we've actually lost over 80,000 jobs in Canada. And Carney is going, oh, no, but I added so many jobs since I was elected to the country. No, I don't think so. And you've actually added more jobs in the United States, and in the last year, Carney is saying that the United States has only added 6,000 jobs to the United States, which the facts all show that's all bullshit. So these politicians are really full of it, absolutely full of it. What the hell is happening with? There's this clip here. And I don't know what's going on. You guys probably know a little bit more about this, but you have our good friend. Let's see. Our good friend Tucker Carlson. Like, what's going on? He's apparently, is he talking to the regime, to the Iran, the regime in Iran, and the CIA or whoever is watching him and looking at his text messages and stuff like that. There's a whole thing about him going on now. And has he been arrested? Is he being arrested? Like, what exactly is the deal with him? This photo that I'm going to bring up here right away is hilarious in hindsight. Trump knew Tucker was talking to Iran, so he invites him to the Oval Office before the strike, knowing Tucker will run straight back and relay it. Iran sees the photo, thinks Tucker has Trump's ear, thinks Trump is bluffing. Meanwhile, Trump is sitting there smiling because he wanted them to believe it. Tucker's ego sells the deception. Khomeini buys it. And just like that, Tucker unknowingly helps take out the supreme leader. And now America's biggest traitor may be heading to prison. Perfectly played. So, you've got this picture of Tucker and Trump at the Oval Office before the strike happened. So that's kind of the story that's happening. What do you think of that story? Is Tucker in jail now? Is he being arrested? I know he did a podcast or something there where he was complaining about his messages being intercepted by the CIA. So, but I liked him when he was on Fox. I used to really like watching him because he was showing the right-wing side of things that were going on. But since he left the Oval Office, he's kind of almost been siding with Russia. He's running over to Russia and doing a report on Russia. And now he's like running over to Iran. And it's like, it seems like all the enemies of the Western world, he's going over there and supposedly reporting on them or whatever, doing some investigative type work or whatever. But is he aligning himself too much with what's going on in those non-friendly type countries? I don't know. I used to like watching him, but lately I haven't been watching him too much because of the fact that he's being sort of against. Like I'm not really for Russia taking over the Ukraine and that whole thing. I'd rather see that Ukraine stays itself. And sorry to say, I don't like to see that Russia is the aggressor on that whole thing, where they're trying to acquire the Ukraine and make them part of Russia, where Ukraine wants to be its own country. They should just leave Ukraine alone. But he's over there on the side of Russia, and now is he on the side of Iran now? I don't know. Who knows? But maybe you know more about that story in the chat. Let's see what else we have here. Fry says the footage from the nukes is fake. It's all about money, big war and control. Yeah, who knows? Taxpayers' dime. So you're telling me that nukes don't exist, Fry? Well, there are the big bunker buster type things, like the one that I showed you. That's not a nuclear bomb, but if you have like 30,000 pounds of explosive designed to, crush something that's 200 feet in the ground, that might be the kind of a thing that would do that. Kerry says they're proving Japan was not nuked. Yeah, right. Japan was nuked. Hiroshima was a real thing. That's like saying, stuff didn't happen in Germany. You know what I mean? Like that's being kind of a conspiracy theorist. It's like Yeah, man didn't live on the or didn't land on the moon. I just watched a show just the other day where they had telescope evidence of all of the stuff that's been left on the moon. They've been to the moon many times already, and every time they go, they leave spacecraft debris. There's lines all over the place from the vehicles when they've driven around. There's TV cameras. There's all kind of evidence, footprints, and all kind of stuff there, and they're able to pick that up with cameras. They've got some kind of orbiting thing that was really close to the moon there that took a lot of pictures of the moon, and I was looking at those pictures there just the other day. Fry says big bombs do exist, but not the fake footage of what they put out about nukes. It's just a buzzword for a big war machine. Well, yeah, but I remember watching, like before the day of modern video, I guess it would be film evidence there, archival evidence when they set nukes off on islands, Bikini Island, for example. And, you remember what that nuke looked like. They have that capability. They have the technology. Kerry says, true, it was an atomic bomb, not nuclear. I don't know what that bomb was. I wouldn't say that was an atomic bomb. They're not going to be leaving nuclear radioactive residue in Iran. That could easily be detected, and that would be make things look bad for the United States if they actually set off some kind of a nuclear device. So I don't think that that's happening at all. It's got to be something else. It's got to be something else. It's got to be a regular type of fertilizer type bomb or some chemical bomb. Something like that. Has there been a nuke test? Only underground test. I know that Korea is testing some nuclear bombs there. They did an underground test of a bomb there not that long ago. I heard about that. Time to wake up. Yeah, exactly. I never said something didn't happen. Yes, stuff happens all the time. But I don't think they're using any kind of nuclear bombs in Iran. Those are just giant, whatever. Like I described it on that last video there. So, yeah, pretty crazy. That's crazy stuff. Yeah, and we showed this one as well, where the Americans are absolutely... what happened with this one here, with this shot? It looks like boats coming out with people on those boats to the same way when they did D-Day over in France, and they, had boats, a big ship showing up with loaded with people. What is that thing that's coming out of the boat there? I don't know if that's people coming out there, but it says here, just in, 5,000 U.S. Marines just got deployed to the Strait of Hormuz. This is a massive ground invasion signal. This bigger than people realize. Full breakdown in the tweet below. Iran's regime will... Let me see if I can read the rest of it here. No, I can't. But anyways, you see what the video looks like there, where the boats are coming out. I don't know if there's people on those boats or if those just some kind of remote control boats or what the hell that is there. But there's something militarily aquatic and Marines. The Marines are doing something there. So precisely what that is, maybe it's just a small boat just for monitoring the drones or something in the area. I don't know. But anyways, there's that clip that's showing up. You got to be careful with what you're seeing because there's all kind of stuff going on. North Korea just fired a ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan. This is March 14th, launched today from an island region towards the east. South Korea's Joint Chief Staff confirmed the launch. So, yeah, you've got that whole story going on. So, I don't know. Let me see if I can resize this a little bit so that we can actually see it. Geez, this thing is so big here. Need to make stuff a little bit smaller so that we can actually look at it here. Not worry too much about what's on the sides of it at all. Okay, here we go. Yeah, you've got this picture that goes along with that comment there. North Korea. So what the hell is it that they fired into the Sea of Japan? Was it one of these kind of things? That looks like a pretty big missile, if you ask me. And the little guy from North Korea, he seems to have some big bombs available to in his arsenal. So, yeah, what the hell actually happened? We don't know. We don't know for sure, but he's doing something. He's trying to put the pressure on the countries all around him, like Japan and South Korea and stuff like that. Yeah, you've got this major escalation. 5,000 Marines deployed, Strait of Hormuz. So these things are coming out here. You've got that going on. You got the world on edge, and you've got the global security and oil prices are soaring here because of what's going on. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Hey, if you're just watching and you're not subbed up to the channel, we're trying to hit 9,300. We're trying to hit 9,300. You can see that counter up on top there. That's the counter that we want to see rise up to 9,300. So we only need 9 more subs for that to happen. If you're just sitting there watching and you're not subbed up to the channel, take this time to figure out how to do it. Hit that sub button, click the bell, and yeah, check us out when we're live again. I don't know if you're on a PC, but if you're on a PC and you like watching YouTube, they have kind of gotten rid of that ability for you to click those 3 little bars on the top left and to look and see with the big line of all the people that are live. They've when the system broke down and whatever it was a few days ago, and ever since that happened, they've gotten rid of that ability for you to see all of the people that you're subscribed to that are live. And now you get a list of all the people you're subscribed to. And if you subscribe to 1,000 people, you got to go through 1,000 people and you see the odd person that's live. So it's almost impossible to see who your friends are that are actually live if you like watching lives. So the only way to do that is to click that bell and turn on all notifications. And then when a person like me goes live, that little bell up on the top gives you an alert, and you can click on it and you can see who of your friends are actually live. So make sure you turn that bell on so that you can, thanks a lot. Yeah, okay. Carrie says, yeah, we could crawl under the desk to hide from it. Yeah, you remember that. Hey, duck and cover. Duck and cover. There used to be a song there, you know. It was related to the nuclear bomb coming. And then they had the air raid siren all over the place. Air raid siren would go off, they'd test them, and then you'd be in school and you'd have to duck and cover underneath your desk there. Yeah, as if hiding underneath your desk at school is going to save you from a nuclear explosion. Totally ridiculous. You have to go into an underground bunker, but of course there was no underground bunker anywhere near. So yeah, duck and cover underneath your school desk was what everyone was told to do. Marine Corps amphibious, this says Pertabanza. Yeah, that's it. LSTS, says Carrie. Right, it was all to brainwash the kids for the big war machine. Yeah, pretty much. We all had to do it, even up here in Canada. It was a big thing. We all had to learn how to duck and cover. They were used in World War II. We have to be careful because I kind of look like San Diego. Might look like Camp Pendleton. Yeah. Well, you know, everything I'm showing you, take with a grain of salt. And, you know, I don't want to get a strike for misinformation. I'm just showing you some videos here. And whether it's actually happening in Iran or whether it's just some AI or whether it's real or whatever, you know, like, I don't know. Because it's all propaganda as far as I'm concerned. It's pictures that are taken by some people. It's AI that'll be made by, like even that amphibious thing that we saw there. Did that actually happen somewhere over in the Gulf or in Iran there, or that happened in in San Diego or whatever? We don't know for sure. Little Rocket Man is scared. He's next. Yeah. Well, you got Cuba. Cuba looks like it's going to fall. If you saw that thing where it looks like the people are really revolting, and Trump is really smart in what he's doing there, because other presidents didn't have the balls to do what he's doing, which is to really put the stranglehold on Cuba, so that the people are hurting so much that they revolt against the government. And really, you can imagine the people there living under the dictatorship of the Castros for I don't know how many years now, 50 years plus. They probably don't like it. They know what life is like in the United States, and they know that they should be living a life that is similar to the way people live in the United States. Why do you think so many people get into a boat and leave Cuba? And I think that he probably limits people. These communist regimes like to limit people leaving their countries, if you notice that. In fact, when I visited Germany, when the Berlin Wall was up, the whole purpose of that wall was to keep people from leaving East Germany and going over to West Germany. In fact, when our vehicle was going through Checkpoint Charlie, we had a van, and they actually, as we were leaving East Germany, the communist country, they actually took a measuring stick, and they measured the side of our van to make sure that it hadn't been built up, like from the floor, that it could be built up high enough for somebody to hide in the floor of our van, because we had a kind of a camper van. And they actually took a long rod, and they shoved the rod down our gas tank, right, to make sure that it went down all the way, and that it wasn't somehow able to go like a shorter distance down, and that we're hiding someone in an area of where the gas tank should be. So they even did stuff like that to ensure that there wasn't somebody that we were smuggling out of the East German bloc. Checkpoint Charlie, famous checkpoint during the war, I think. That's where that name Checkpoint Charlie came from. And that's one of the bits of lore of my past where I went through there. And we also visited the concentration camp called Dachau, and I actually stood in the extermination chamber, the chamber where there was a little pipe. It was like about maybe a half-inch pipe up in the top, right in the corner, where the ceiling meets the wall of a room, and of course locked doors, and they'd put a bunch of people in there, and then through that little pipe that was on the ceiling, they would force gas into the room, gas the people, kill them. And then there were like rows, like maybe about 20 or 30 rows of ovens where they would put the bodies into the ovens and incinerate them. And like, wow. Once you go and you see something like that, you have a real different opinion of people that willy-nilly call people Hitler and call people Nazis, and have no idea of how bad that it actually was back then and what people went through. And the pictures, of course, you might have even seen the pictures of all of the jewelry that they took off the people, all the shoes that they took off of people, that they had just piles and piles of all the stuff. Like there were literally like, I don't even know what the numbers are, because I'm not like a warmonger where I was so interested in war and so interested in history and stuff like that. I just happened to be there and happened to visit there because I was with some friends that were more into that kind of stuff, So I went, I'll go there and take a look at that. But it was absolutely devastating. Absolutely devastating. It actually changed the way that I thought of the world when that happened. And that's why I'm so adamant at what I'm seeing happening in Iran, where it's the same kind of thing happening, where he's exterminating the people. The Khomeini, the Islamic regime, is exterminating the people within that country, their own people, the people that live there, the people that have lived for literally thousands of millennia of years on that land, the Persian people. And the Persian people are Christian. They're dominantly Christian people. They're not Islamic. And the Islamic regime has taken them over and forced them all to do stuff, and the people don't like what's going on. But that Islamic regime has such a stranglehold on Iran that you see what's going on. You know, they're the ones that are bombing and shooting and fighting with the U.S. And the actual people, they're not the ones with the guns. They don't have any guns. They've been like disarmed. And they're just, at the mercy of the Islamic regime. And a lot of the people are over in places like you're saying in L.A., in probably New York, in Toronto, Vancouver, the big cities. And there's literally hundreds of thousands of Iranians that have fled Iran. And those people that are still left there are being slaughtered by the Islamic regime. And it's not a good situation at all. It's absolutely terrible. Kerry says every one of them are showing their size now. Fry says, good to know, Tommy Temper. I did not know if it was just my YouTube algo, because I don't watch YouTube much. Yeah, no, it changed. And a lot of people are complaining about that they can't see who's live anymore. That's why it's important to turn the bell on. And you went through those drills, the duck and cover thing there that we were talking about. Too much AI. Yeah, that's part of the problem. You don't know whether it's real or whether it's AI now. I think that the one with the ship and the thing coming off, that wasn't AI. But where it was is another question, and you don't know for sure. And we had to watch the fake nuke footage, the fake nuke footage. It was real nuke footage. They didn't have the ability to fake that stuff back then, And what do you think, that Bikini Island was faked? I don't think so. I think it really happened. And Bikini Island, it ended up destroying the island because you had all of the nuclear radioactive residue that was left on the island. So people can't even live on that island anymore. Bikini Island. Do a search for it. I saw a jet deck go straight up from catapult with flagman less than 20 feet away from a jet blast, says Kerry. Right on, especially out west. AI video. We did have a boiler room and large bunker underneath the school. You're lucky. I actually do remember. No, it was more, I don't know what the hell happened one time. We didn't have rubber boots or something one day, and it was wet outside. And so we got our feet all wet, so we had to go down to the boiler room. But I don't think it was because of the training for duck and cover. But I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Kerry, we did have that in this part of Texas. Yeah, remember the air raid sirens there? They took them all down there, probably in the 80s or something like that. Very, very difficult to find out who is live. YouTube shows whoever it wants to, not my subscriptions. Yeah, especially if you click that home button, click the home button. Sometimes you'll see some lives from your people that you're sub to, but a lot of times not so. Air raid siren was on top of the school, and they constantly tested it. Yeah. Exactly. You got exactly. All right. This one here is real. Is this AI or is it real? Welcome back from Iran is the clip on this one here. So, this may or may not be real, but people have perished, like military soldiers have perished over in Iran already. I don't know if this video is the actual video of people coming back, but somebody has posted that. And we do know that some bodies have come back. Let's see. Here is the bitter lesson Iran realized 40 years ago. They knew they could not fight and win a superpower like the U.S. in traditional warfare, but instead devised another powerful strategy: watch the video for a better understanding. Okay, let's watch this video and see what they're talking about here. Hang on a second. Let me just bring it in here so that we can see it. It's a vertical, kind of a vertical video here, so it's kind of small to watch here, but we'll figure it out.
40 years ago, Iran realized something terrifying. It realized that it could never defeat America in a traditional war. So instead, it prepared for a totally different kind of war. To understand this strategy, we have to go back to the 1980s. At that time, Iran was fighting one of the longest and deadliest wars in modern Middle Eastern history, the Iran-Iraq War. For 8 brutal years, from 1980 to 1988, Iran and Iraq fought a conflict that killed hundreds of thousands of people and devastated both countries. During this war, Iran learned a painful lesson.
1980? I was there when the Shah was in power in Iran before the Ayatollah took over. And I was right close to that border where you see that where the red and the green are, where that war was going on. And I actually spoke to a soldier who could speak a bit of English, and he was involved in that war between Iran and Iraq. Yeah, it has been going on for a long time. Those two countries have been fighting like forever. So, but he's talking about something that started in 1980, but I think it was way before that stuff was happening. But those countries are always fighting each other over there. It's just constant.
That modern warfare had changed. Countries with advanced technology, powerful air forces, and strong allies had a massive advantage. Iran realized that if it ever faced a superpower like the United States, fighting a traditional war with tanks, jets, and large armies would be extremely difficult. So Iranian military planners began thinking differently. Instead of preparing to defeat stronger enemies in a direct battle, they started designing a strategy that could make any war extremely costly for the opponent. This is known as asymmetric warfare. In simple terms, asymmetric warfare means fighting a stronger enemy by avoiding its strengths and attacking its weaknesses. Rather than competing with American aircraft carriers and stealth bombers, Iran focused on cheaper, flexible weapons and tactics that are harder to stop. One major part of this strategy is its investment in missiles and drones. Instead of spending enormous amounts of money on modern fighter jets, Iran developed a large arsenal of ballistic missiles and long-range drones capable of striking targets across the region. And in recent years, these drones have become one of Iran's most important strategic tools. These low-cost attack drones can travel long distances and overwhelm air defense systems when launched in large numbers. Recently, Iran used waves of these drones to target military bases and infrastructure across several Gulf countries, including the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. The cost of engaging these drones far exceeded the cost of the drone itself. So this way, Iran is mathematically bleeding these rich Gulf countries. Now, another key pillar of this same strategy is Iran's network of allies across the Middle East. Over the past few decades, Iran has built relationships with armed groups in several countries, including Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. These groups act as Iran proxies and gives it influence far beyond its own borders. And as a result of this strategy, in this ongoing Iran-Israel war, the pressure is appearing in many places at once. Instead of one battlefield, there are several. Similarly, geography also plays a crucial role in Iran's strategy. Iran sits next to one of the most important waterways in the world, the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow passage connects the Persian Gulf to the global ocean, and around 20% the world's oil passes through it every day. Iran has recently blocked this strait, and energy markets are already beginning to witness the impact of blocking this choke point. Then Iran's naval strategy also reflects its asymmetric approach. Instead of building a navy similar to the United States, Iran relies on smaller, faster boats, equipped with missiles and torpedoes. In large numbers, these boats can move quickly and create difficult situations for larger ships operating in the confined waters of the Persian Gulf. Finally, Iran's military structure is designed to keep functioning, even under heavy pressure. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and its affiliated forces are organized in ways that allow different units to operate independently if needed. This decentralization means that even if some leaders or bases are targeted, the broader network can continue functioning. And this is exactly what is happening currently. The termination of Ayatollah Khamenei and other top leadership had little impact on Iran's retaliation activities. When all these elements come together, a clear strategy appears. Iran's goal is not to defeat the United States in a traditional military sense. Instead, its strategy focuses on making this war so complex, so costly, and so unpredictable that continuing the conflict becomes politically and economically difficult. In other words, Iran's strategy is not to defeat the United States. It is to make this war so expensive that the United States eventually loses it politically.
Well, what do you think of that? It's propaganda, but that is exactly what Iran is doing. Exactly. You know, well, you might say that's propaganda, but that is what what they're doing. The number one, you can take out the head, but if you take the head off the cobra, the rest of the cobra is operating independently. You've got different people that are embedded all over the place, different locations, that they don't care whether the Ayatollah is gone or whether his son is operating or whatever. They're kind of operating autonomously without having to have a leader. They know that there's a fight on, and as long as the fight is on, that they're going to keep doing what they're doing. They've got the buildup of those drones. They've been supplying those drones to Russia. The Shahed drones or whatever the hell they call them, coming from Iran. They've been supplying those ever since Russia has been fighting the Ukraine, and tons of those drones over to Russia, and those things are very, very effective. So that's what they're using there now to fly over and hit hotels and other infrastructure, oil infrastructure in other countries and stuff like that, military bases, and they've got the missiles. And yeah, they didn't have a lot of planes, and of what planes they did have and helicopters, the U.S. bombed all that stuff, but it doesn't seem to make any difference because they've got so many missiles that are all over the place, just embedded, in different camouflage locations. And it seems like, okay, if they do shoot one thing from one location, the U.S. knows where that location is and sends a bomb over and bombs that location. But it doesn't seem to matter because the next time that they fire something, it's from a completely different location. And they've got so many of those locations over in Iran where they've embedded people and military product to where they can bring it out, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're making it extremely difficult. It's like a different kind of a war than if you remember the Vietnam War, where it was like people fighting in the frickin' jungle and hiding in the jungle and stuff like that. Well, there is no jungle in Iran. There's it's like desert. The whole country is like a giant desert, right? It's all desert. Like if you take a trip from Tehran down to Shiraz down in the southern part, and you travel that, everywhere that you look is desert. It's desert on both sides of the highway. That's all you see is desert for the whole trip. You see sand and rocks and stuff like that. You don't see trees. You don't see bushes. You don't see anything. You just see desert. It's the whole freaking country is nothing but desert. Really, honestly. Until you get into the northern part, then, you get into the mountainous area up a little bit higher up. And there you might get a little bit of trees and stuff like that. But otherwise, most of it is desert. So really all they can do is take areas and build some kind of bunkers, underground bunkers, and then cover them up, make it look like when you look at from a satellite view, you don't see anything there. It's just covered up. And then they open it up when they want to, and away it goes. In fact, I've seen some videos where it looks like complete sand. All you see is sand. And then all of a sudden you see the sand kind of blow away, and then doors open up, and then a missile comes out of the ground. And that's how they're shooting that stuff out of there. And they've got stuff stockpiled underground like that with, hidden locations or whatever. So, yeah, that's what they've done. Like, they're pretty smart. And exactly, you might call that video propaganda. Yeah, of course, it's, probably produced by some YouTuber or whatever. But the whole mainstay of what they're saying is precisely what's going on. It's like, yeah, you can bomb all over the place, but if you don't know where they're hidden because it's covered with sand, you're not going to be able to find where it is, and you're not going to be able to take them out. Not until you get boots on the ground. If you get boots on the ground, and even then, if you're rolling around somewhere, how the hell you could be driving by missiles that are underground and you don't even see it. You need some kind of underground radar or something like that, and put the radar over the whole bloody country to find out where this stuff is, and then once you find it, then blow it up. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. But that's what's going on here right now. Is it's a fight that you can't fight with $1 million bombs, because you can't bomb something if you don't know where it is, and they're only pulling this stuff out and using it as needed, at this point. So, and they still have apparently tons of stuff all over the place that's still embedded, and nobody knows where it is. That's why when you're with the regime was pretty strict on making sure that when you go over there, if there's anything military over in Iran, you don't take pictures of it. If you're a tourist over there, you don't take pictures of it with your camera. In a lot of those countries, and even in Turkey or any of the Bulgaria or any countries like that, the last thing you want to be is caught with some pictures of some military installations and stuff like that on your camera. And in fact, this stuff that we're talking about it's stuff that you can't even see. You can't even take a picture of it because it's just hidden so well. It's camouflaged, so you'll only see it when it springs into activity. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, that video, I actually like that. That kind of showed us what was going on there. We have this one here where we've got more U.S. Marines and warships are being deployed in the Middle East. The unit headed by the USS Tripoli typically consists of about 5,000 sailors and Marines distributed across several warships. This is just I think an AI shot of what it might look like once they have actually landed. I don't know. Does anybody have any information on whether or not they've actually landed or not? Are they actually boots on the ground yet? Is that actually what's happening? I don't know. Who knows for sure? Yeah. This is what some of these things look like here. Hang on. This is frickin' AI. Yeah, check this out. Yeah, it reached its target all right. But anyways, this is one of these bombs or whatever. And of course, they've got these mobile launchers. If you take a look there's a typical mobile launcher. And that's how the thing maybe takes off. That's AI of one of those rockets. In fact, that looked like the rocket from the Koreans. The Koreans are using. I don't know what that was there, but it looked pretty fake. You've got this clip here. And this clip is showing us Faraya, UAE, Faraya. This is not Iran, but on the other side of the Gulf there, or whatever you want to call it, the water. Their port was reportedly attacked by Iranian drones, causing a large fire at the port located outside the Strait of Hormuz. And according to Bloomberg, oil loading operations at the port were halted following the attack. Let's check it out. This is what it looked like. A couple of fires there. Yeah, not good. Not allowed. Not allowed. So something burning there. Da-dum. Uh-oh. What does this one here say? Americans, beware, because every penny it costs to move troops or war equipment will go directly to the enormous $38 trillion debt you owe to China, Japan, the United Kingdom, among other nations. And Trump is working on ways to saddle you with that debt, whether through dollar depreciation or other terrible ways. So, yeah, that propaganda coming out that they're trying to, go, you know what, you shouldn't be involved in this because it's going to cost you money. And you already owe all these other countries $38 trillion. So where are you going to get that money from? Well, just print more money. And Trump is trying to get the Fed that looks after interest rates to reduce interest rates. And, when you have, this is another thing to keep in mind, is that when you have the price of oil hitting $100 a barrel plus, it is going to absolutely cause inflation, right? Because you've got all of those trucks bringing all the product all over the place that's going to be passing the whole thing on to the people that are shipping stuff. We're going to pass that on to you, the consumer. You're going to be paying more for every one of those products that you buy, whether it's a head of lettuce or a tube of toothpaste. It's all going to go up in price, and that's what's called inflation. And Trump wants to lower interest rates, and traditionally, the Fed increases interest rates to combat high inflation. So, for example, if the inflation rate is 2%, the interest rate might be 2%, just for an example. And if the inflation rate jumps up to 4%, well, then the Fed will increase the interest rate up to 4% to try and get you to not buy as much stuff because it's more expensive to borrow money, from the bank. So you're less likely to buy, things that you normally buy, either it be a place to live or furniture or anything that you buy with your credit card, which could be anything, right? Because if credit costs more, you're less likely to buy an item. So that slows down inflation by you not buying as much stuff, And of course, Trump is pretty much, you know what he's going to say about all this stuff. You've heard him before, right? Let's hear what Trump has to say.
Quote, fake news. Fake news. You are fake news. It's all fake news. Fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen. It's all fake news.
That's my music, but it's X's clip on that one there. But it works, doesn't it? Is it all fake news? Yeah. Okay. People are saying that. Might be fake, but I don't know. We're all I'm just theorizing on what's going on here. Like you guys know what's going on. Everyone in your own head has your own idea of what's going on. But, everything is intertwined in this world that we live in. And everything uses money. Okay? Our economies are based on money in your pocket. Whether or not you have money, you want to have more money in your pocket. And how can you have more money in your pocket when things are costing more and more and more? It's like, remember when a hamburger used to be like 10 cents at McDonald's? Yeah. Well, now it's like $5. Like whatever happened to that? That's called inflation, right? And then you have something called shrinkflation, where instead of increasing the price of the product, they'll just make the product smaller. So I'm pretty sure that McDonald's burger has gotten smaller over the years, and the price has gone up, right? Or your bag of chips, instead of being 350 grams in your bag, now it's the same price, but it's gone down to 250 grams. You've got that whole crap that goes on all the time. So when you have inflation happening, like the price of oil going up, it affects everything out there. 2 chats. What? Yeah, read my last 2 chats when you can. Okay, I'll do that right now, Fry. Let me take a look. Most people are low IQ. Okay, I see that. And let's see where last one is there. If I could go back far enough and find it. Tommy Temper. What? So play that. Okay, now this is the fake nuke footage you've been talking about. Okay, I see what you're talking about there, Fry. Let me see if I can find it here. What, you think that's fake? I don't know. That's from a long time ago. A long time ago. Let me see if I can bring it up on the screen here. Hang on. Let me just copy that. And I'll have to figure out what screen to put it on here. I'll maybe put it on this one here. Yeah, I'll definitely play that. Let me see it here. It's like a pretty giant screen here. Okay, hang on. I have to readjust the size of the thing here. It's the atomic bomb thing here. Hang on. Okay. I don't know if I'm able to show it all here, but I got the screen size done up. AdamCentral.com. And this is let me just go over it here. The following clips were from an atomic test known as Teapot Apple II and Operation Q, which took place on May 5th, 1955. Project 39.4C provided remotely operated photographic coverage of the blast and thermal damage to physical structures. Apple II was a 29 kilotron nuclear test. A total of 48 cameras were operated at distances from ground zero from 2,750 feet to 10,500 feet. These particular clips were photographed both inside and outside of the houses at distances ranging from 4,700, 5,500, 7,800, and 10,500 feet from ground zero. They have been cleaned up for the most part with sound effects added. May 2015 will mark the 60th anniversary of these historic and iconic images. This material is available for licensing in high resolution. Yeah, right. Might get a strike for this here. But anyways, let's take a look at it here. Oh, hang on. Just have to move this back down again here. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at it here. We'll play it. Fry says that this is fake. But Fry, you believe in the flat earth theory there too. And I don't know if you think the man never went to the moon and stuff like that. So take it with a grain of salt. Well, whether this... Okay, look, there's dummies in there. Those aren't real people. Camera on them. You can see how they get devastated. There's what it would be like inside of a house in a nuclear blast. Pretty much gets incinerated. It would be like, like for somebody to say that this is not what happens during a nuclear blast. I can't see that, Fry. I can't. I wouldn't say that it's fake. And saying that it's fake might be misinformation just to say that, right? You know what I mean? So what you say about things that happen, it's like Trump saying that during the vote that he didn't win, or that he did win when he didn't win, and that it was all fake and whatever. And I got a strike for misinformation during that. So you might think that this is fake. From what I see, it apparently is real images and stuff that happened back then. And I know I've seen this footage before. It's not the first time that I've seen this stuff here. And yeah, this is pretty much what happens. Just think about what happened during Hiroshima. Hiroshima was one of these bombs going off, similar to what you see here. And it devastated a whole area of Hiroshima, where it all looked just like what you see here after the event. So you might say that this footage is faked. Well, I don't know whether it's fake or not. That I don't know. But does this happen during a nuclear explosion? Yes, certainly things like this actually happen. Look there's a guy getting out of his car there. What the hell is that all about? If I was him, I'd get the hell out of there. Don't tell me he's going to stay inside the house there. That would be a bad thing to happen. Oh, no. Well, that in particular, was he inside of the house? No. Look we go back to that clip there. The car is nowhere to be seen. So he was at that location with his car just while they had the camera set up and stuff like that before they actually set the bomb off. And then he took off. So, yeah, he wasn't inside of the house anyway. Uh-oh. It's a kid, but it's a dummy. It's just a dummy. It's not a real person. Don't worry. Vaporizes. And the shockwave. Unbelievable. Crazy. Yeah, we saw stuff like this back in the day. This is the reason that we, sang that song, Duck and Cover, and we hid underneath our desks at school to prepare for the nuclear explosion. But we all knew that if a nuclear bomb hit close by to where we were at, we'd all be vaporized anyway. So it was all in vain. There's a car right there. Could those particular shots be somehow? Could they somehow be? What would you call it? Faked? Yeah, they could be faked. That's a possibility that would happen. Are they fake? I don't know. I don't think that they're fake. I never did think that stuff was fake. I thought that was pretty much what happened back in the day when they were testing. And I remember them actually testing the nuclear bombs back when I was a kid. Like, I'm old enough to remember that. It was back in Nevada or places like that where those things happened. And there were alerts that came up here. It was like, yeah, we want to alert you that we're setting off a nuclear bomb. We're testing it. And be aware that the wind is going to potentially bring radioactive material in the air up to where you live, And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. No problem. Thanks a lot for the warning on that. We're going to be irradiated with nuclear radiation. You know, like that's great to know that that's going to happen. We love those above ground tests. You know, they're like great for the environment. But back then, you know, you didn't know. But you know, you did know because you saw what happened during Hiroshima, right? You knew how bad that the aftermath of the nuclear explosions were because you saw what happened in Hiroshima. You had radiation there for years until they had to clean it all up and get it the hell out of there, reclaim the soil, whatever, in order to rebuild the city. So everyone knew how bad radiation was, but apparently it was okay in small doses. You know, small doses is okay, but massive doses, not so much. Here we're seeing, I don't know, I can't read the Arabic here or whatever the language is on these videos, but we're watching some videos of stuff happening, and I don't know where this is, but it's somewhere in the Middle East that we're seeing some explosions happen, and it could be anywhere, you know, could be Iran, could be Israel, could be, I don't know, Lebanon, could be anywhere where we're seeing some of these bombs go off. In fact, this doesn't look like Iran because it looks like it's got a little bit too much grass there. So it could be like Israel or Lebanon or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, you can see that there's an awful lot of bombing. Oh, there's an Israeli flag right there. So this has to be bombing in Israel itself. And it's not looking good. Looking terrible. I'm not saying that was not a nuke. I'm just talking about that footage from the 50s. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that footage I've seen. Like, that's not the first time that I've seen that footage. And, yeah, it's devastating as to exactly what a nuke can do. But to the same degree, if you had that 30,000 pound bomb going off close by to a house, it would pretty much do the same kind of damage to a building that would be close by it. You know, but hey, the bigger the nuke, and remember, you had different kinds of nuke. You had the atomic bomb, and there were different varieties of atomic bombs that had different categories of how much damage they would do. And it's the same thing as dynamite. You know, you can go from something as small as a firecracker to a 30,000 pound bunker buster type thing. So the bigger the bomb appears, like the bigger the mushroom cloud and the more damage that it's going to do. And here you can see some mushroom clouds from even some of these ones here. It's amazing. Amazing.
مع مصر، وذلك بعد رصد الجيش الإسرائيلي لصاروخ أو صواريخ أطلقت من إيران نحو تلك المنطقة. في الساعات الثلاث الماضية شهدنا إطلاقا للصواريخ نحو تل أبيب، وشهدنا أيضا اعتراضا لهذه الصواريخ، وأحد هذه الصواريخ كان عبارة عن صاروخ انقسم لأجزاء بعد اعتراضه من قبل منظومة الدفاعات الجوية الإسرائيلية، وتشظى ما أدى إلى إحداث أضرار دون وقوع إصابات بحسب الإسعاف الإسرائيلي.
الجيش الإسرائيلي يتحدث عن رصد إطلاق صواريخ من إيران. إذن الجيش الإسرائيلي في خبر عاجل مشاهدينا يتحدث عن رصد إطلاق الصواريخ من إيران. هل يعني رصدت من حيث أنت وصول أي من
Sorry, I can't translate. Here, I'll translate, okay? The bomb is big. Look. Looks like a bomb incoming. Did it hit a building? I'm not sure.
الكبرى الضواحي الشمالية الشرقية الجنوبية وصولا إلى مستوطنات الضفة الغربية.
What's that one?
صافرات الإنذار.
That's an anti-weapon being shot up from the ground to try and thwart some kind of a missile or something incoming. That would be absolutely terrifying. Being there, right there, seeing that happen, knowing that there were missiles coming your way, and you see the anti-missile equipment setting up. Yeah, heads up, Kerry. Yeah, definitely. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Look at the sky now. Holy jeez. Anti-missile the stuff that they're firing up there. Look at one of them got through right there.
في محاولة لتحديد عدد الصواريخ التي تطلقها إيران. في الليل يكون الوضع مختلف، في النهار هناك
bomb coming in from Iran.
الصواريخ. لكن على العموم
and this is the damage or something.
انفجار كبير في مدينة
somebody in their house. Okay. Showing us what's happening there. Incoming missiles from Iran.
لا نعرف إن كانت أطلقت هذه الصواريخ الاعتراضية تجاه صاروخ إيراني واحد أو أننا سنسمع مزيدا من الانفجارات خلال الثواني المقبلة. الآن خروج عدة صواريخ اعتراضية جديدة في تل أبيب، خروج صاروخين اعتراضيين تجاه هدفين متباعدين على ما يبدو. الآن صاروخ اعتراضي ثالث ورابع أيضا. 4 صواريخ اعتراضية في سماء تل أبيب في هذه الأثناء، واللافت أن أحد الصواريخ ذهب باتجاه البحر، والآن أيضا مزيد من الصواريخ الاعتراضية في سماء تل أبيب في هذه الأثناء، واللافت أن 2 من هذه الصواريخ تتجه باتجاه البحر، رغم أن البحر لا يفترض أن تأتي منه صواريخ على إسرائيل خصوصا من إيران. هذا انفجار ثان نسمعه الآن.
But what we can get from this is it appears like it's
انفجار ثالث.
Iran bombing Israel.
إذن 3 4 انفجارات.
Because once in a while you can see an Israeli flag there.
نتيجة 5 انفجارات.
So this is what's happening in Israel.
رشقة كبيرة باتجاه تل أبيب في هذه الأثناء. هذا صاروخ اعتراضي جديد. رأينا الاعتراض على الهواء، رشقة كبيرة في هذه الأثناء على تل أبيب. 6 صواريخ باليستية.
Holy.
وأسمع دوي انفجار يأتي من
Yeah, he's running for shelter.
7 انفجارات في المجمل، 6 مباشرة فوق تل أبيب، والسابع يأتي من مناطق بعيدة. 8 انفجارات، 9 انفجارات، هذا الأخير كان كبيرا. إذا انفجارات متلاحقة في سماء مدينة تل أبيب بعد قصف إيراني هو الأول منذ ساعات، ويأتي على الرغم من الادعاءات الإسرائيلية.
I think he's saying those mother effer Iranians.
وأنها تسببت ادعاءات أمريكية كذلك كررها الرئيس الأمريكي بالأمس ومجموعة من المسؤولين الأمريكيين.
that would be just unbelievable chaos there living in Israel.
تتباهى خلال الساعات الماضية
having to
إيران لم تطلق الصواريخ طوال الليلة الماضية
having to suffer the consequences.
خلال الأيام الأخيرة، والتي تقول إسرائيل إنها استهدفت منصات لإطلاق الصواريخ. على العموم رشقة كبيرة في هذه الأثناء.
Did you see that one where there's an East Indian, I think it was East Indian guy in England, where he refused to serve halal food in his store or to sell halal products, and the police came and arrested him. Like, what the hell?
حتى هذه اللحظة هذا هو الخبر المتوفر في الحقيقة جلال، ولكن نذكر بأن موقع وزارة الدفاع الإسرائيلية الواقع في وسط مدينة تل أبيب استهدف في السابق خلال العام الماضي، وأيضا بالإضافة إلى ذلك هنالك ارتفاع في عدد الإصابات جراء هذا الاستهداف الصاروخي الذي وقع قبل قليل. نحن نتحدث بحسب الإسعاف الإسرائيلي أيضا جلال بأن 11 إصابة جراء هذا الاستهداف الصاروخي، من بينهم إصابة حرجة جدا، لذلك هنالك ارتفاع في عدد الإصابات. وموقع والله يذكر الوجهة والموقع الذي تم استهدافه وهو موقع وزارة الدفاع الإسرائيلية. هذه ليست المرة الأولى التي تحاول فيها إيران استهداف هذا الموقع الحساس.
Yeah, I saw that.
كان هنالك استهداف.
There were a few Israeli flags there.
على ما يبدو بأن إيران تقوم
So this is all footage from Israel.
الغاية على المستوى الأمني الإسرائيلي في داخل العمق. مقر وزارة الدفاع الإسرائيلية أيضا يتم من خلاله إدارة العمليات التي توجه باتجاه الأراضي الإيرانية. لذلك هذا
So you know what? They're actually taking quite a beating in Israel by the looks of it. It's not just a one-way thing where they're bombing Iran, but Iran is really sending a lot of missiles over. Of course, you can see where they're, they're trying to fight back and prevent those missiles from hitting the ground. But there are enough of them getting through to where that right there, that's an anti-missile that was firing from the ground up to try and hit one of the Iranian missiles coming in. But there's enough of them that are getting through to where they seem to be causing some pretty extensive damage.
استهدافها في هذا التوقيت، وخاصة ونحن نتحدث بأن الجانب الإسرائيلي يخرج إلى مواجهة لاستهداف إيران، وهو يقول بأنه استخلص العبر، رفع حالة الجهوزية، لديه قدرات عملياتية على تنفيذ عمليات بعيدة المدى. ولكن من ناحية أخرى تنجح إيران مجددا باستهداف موقع وزارة الدفاع الإسرائيلية، وهو موقع حساس للغاية. وأيضا في سياق المواجهة السابقة كان هنالك استهداف لمواقع. الآن مجددا منظومة الإنذار المبكر التابعة للجبهة الداخلية جلال،
هذا يعني رصد إطلاق صواريخ من إيران، صحيح؟
تطلب من
Yeah, she's really talking.
بالضبط على ما يبدو بأننا
I think that they're like on this TV station or whatever, talking over.
وفي إطار الإجراءات الاحترازية والإنذار المبكر تقوم الجبهة الداخلية بإرسال
Luckily, I pressed my mute button right in time when I sneezed right there.
أنه في الدقائق المقبلة سوف يتم اعتراض.
Otherwise, you would have heard a really loud sneeze.
باتجاه الأراضي الإسرائيلية. لذلك هنالك
seem to be hitting the edge of the city. Well, that one there was right on a building there, top of a building. Looked like, but yeah, some of the shots are showing them on the outskirts. But then again, we're watching a kind of a replay of this. It's like playing over and over and over on this channel here, and we've already seen this. But you can see there is damage in the city here. But they're hitting all over the place. It's almost like willy-nilly, you know what I mean? Like they're just sending bombs over there, but they're not specifically targeting any particular location. Hey, we'll just send bombs into the city, you know, whatever it hits, hey, it hits. You know, and that's what the Iranians are doing. Same thing in Qatar there, and the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, where they hit like a tourist hotel, you know, type thing, to like scare all the tourists to get them all out of Dubai. And that's the whole thing. Scare the people, get the tourists out, all of that area, all the tourists have left, and then bomb whatever oil infrastructure that they might have, especially if they're able to sell oil, bomb refineries, bomb ships so that they can't load any oil, and it just causes much H&D, hate and discontent amongst all of the different countries there, and the countries that they supply oil to. Like, and it's funny because countries like China, they're Iran is aligned with China, so they're kind of inadvertently hurting China by making it so that the oil that they buy is unavailable. But you hear this that China, those ships, they're apparently able to load up oil, but you've got the island, the Iranian island, where the ships load up the oil, and the Americans have bombed the military portion of the island, but they've not bombed the the infrastructure that allows them to load oil onto the ships. But are they still loading oil onto ships? Are they allowing those ships to get through to send oil to China? Like, it's kind of all up in the air. Nobody knows for sure what's going on there. Especially since the U.S. has bombed the military part of that so-called Karg Island, the #1 spot for where Iran loads oil onto ships in the Middle East there. China told them to kiss off. Well, now Trump has said that Russia, because you got a bunch of boats floating around there full of oil that Trump embargoed, it didn't allow them to go to their destinations, and now because of the high price of oil, with crude being WTI crude being 99.96, 100. Like, in fact, we just hit 100 here. As we're sitting here talking, look at WTI crude has gone up to over $100 a barrel here as we're doing the broadcast here, because it was below 100 and now it's popped up over 100 in preparation probably for tomorrow for the opening of the stock market and trading and future trading and stuff like that. And if you look at the timeline on this, look at this here, and the way they do this stuff is you put your ruler over here and you look, okay, which direction is the trend line? The trend is your friend, right? And in this case, the trend appears to be going up, not down at the moment. And in preparation for stock trading on Monday morning, watch for WTI crude to pop up well above the $100 mark when trading opens up. It will absolutely be happening. Okay, well, we've seen enough of this here, so we'll shut that off and go. Yeah, definitely Israel is taking the brunt of everything here because, of course, you see American bases being hit that are located in that area there, and you see the odd crazy guy in the United States, so-called jihadist or whatever, do some crazy stuff and try and kill people and whatever. And you've seen a few cases of that. You had in, I don't know, where was it? Was it in New York or somewhere there where there was some protest going on and some couple of guys showed up with some homemade bombs and stuff like that. So yeah, we're seeing some of that kind of action go on. It's pretty crazy out there. The world is a crazy place. There's no doubt about that. Oh, hang on. Let me get that in there. Let me, excuse me. Normally I'd mute my mic, but I'm too lazy here today. Let's see what else that's live here right now that we can come up with and show you here. Crucial night for America. 1 minute ago, Iran drops the biggest bomb. What's this one all about here?
To come back to a negotiation table, maybe with the U.S. as well. And Turkey has been offering that.
Oh, this is
for a trilateral between Turkey, U.S., and Iran. What would be your response to that? Because right now the U.S. is technically involved in this conflict. Thank you.
Well, I think it is irrelevant to ask Iran to return to diplomacy because
that's Iran right there, the Republic. He's with the Islamic Republic.
With the United States when Israelis blew it up. And again, we were in the middle of talks and negotiation with Europeans, happened only 2 days ago in Geneva, when this time Americans decided to blow it up. So,
hey, good night, Kerry. Good to see you. Thanks a lot.
What we
I don't know if they're still pumping in Iran.
Militarily.
I don't think so.
So it was not Iran.
But they have about 5 locations on the coast where they can load ships. But Karg Island was the primary location.
They betrayed negotiations. When at the middle of negotiations with us, they gave green light to Israelis, if not instructed them to attack Iran's nuclear facilities. I think they have proved that they are not men of diplomacy, and they only understand the language of threat and force. And this is very unfortunate.
You can tell that this is the Islamic regime flag right here. And the Persian people, they have one with a lion on it. That's how you can tell the difference with these flags here.
They have no respect to any international law regarding, managing the board and facing challenges of the board. There is no red line that they have not crossed. And the last one, and the most dangerous one, happened only last night, when they crossed a very big red line by attacking nuclear facilities. I don't know how much room is left for diplomacy.
They were trying to make a bomb.
We are now calculating the damages. And as I said, the damages are not only for our nuclear facilities, the damages are for the United Nations Charter. It was not only Iran's facilities which was bombed, it was also the United Nations Charter. It was also non-proliferation regime and NPT, which was bombed last night by Americans. And it was the rule of law and international law which was bombed. So now we have to see how much room is left for diplomacy, and we will decide.
I'd like to hand over to TRT World.
Trump gave him time to negotiate. They didn't want to negotiate. They wanted to produce the bomb.
Donald Trump warned that Iran must now make peace, otherwise the future attacks, he says, would be far greater and much easier. So how is Tehran responding to that threats from Washington? Thank you.
I think it's not up to Iran to respond to that. The whole international community should respond of such a clear threat against the United Nations Charter. Iran has done nothing wrong. We do not understand
Samuel,
why Iran should
good
be
to see you.
For a false
Jesus loves you.
That Iran is seeking nuclear weapons. It's now more than 20 years that we are trying to prove that our peaceful nuclear program is in fact peaceful.
It's not peaceful because you're enriching the uranium to nuclear bomb standards. You don't need that for a traditional power plant. You need like 20% enrichment. They're trying to enrich it up to like 90% to bomb grade nuclear material. That's the problem.
And restarted their threats. Again,
not rocket science.
With the same administration,
it's
then all of a sudden they decided to attack us, first by Israelis, then by themselves, and now they are threatening us for more attacks.
He's our hope.
So it's not up to Iran, but it's up to international community.
He's the Persians' help too. Jesus, they are actually Christians. Those Persians that are being persecuted.
for the international law, for the security at the world level. The Security Council should play its role, should play its responsibility to prevent, to condemn and prevent these kind of threats. We will certainly defend our interests. We will certainly defend our territorial integrity, our sovereignty, and our
Thanks for watching over on X, anybody that's watching, YouTube and on Facebook. Appreciate y'all.
What injustice they are doing against the Iranian people. They are united.
Hit that sub button. We're trying to hit 9,300 on YouTube.
And we stand firm against any aggression.
Next, CNN Türk.
Mr. Minister, how do you assess the West's stance on Israel massacres? No one seems to mention Israel's allegedly illegal nuclear weapons. The German Chancellor even said Israel is doing the dirty work for us. So what is your response? Thank you.
Well, what should I say?
Made the guy duck and cover. What's going on? Nuclear bomb going off?
Is under attack by a nuclear-armed superpower and a nuclear-armed regime.
He's talking about USA. Yeah, but they're not going to drop a nuke on you.
Country.
Nuclear-armed.
That should be certainly condemned.
Doesn't matter. They're not. USA is not using nukes. They don't want you to have a nuke.
And would be defeated. Iran is a committed member of...
Neither is NATO, for that matter.
But NPT is not able to protect us. So why a country like Iran or other countries who are interested to have a peaceful nuclear energy should rely on NPT
Time for a donut.
Their, peaceful activities? It is very unfortunate that Israel is doing as the German
Here, Samuel, you can have this donut, okay? No!
A dirty job.
Hey, Carrie, you can have a donut. Here, here, Carrie. Late night snack.
That dirty job.
Good for you. Lots of sugar.
Shame. They know that Israel is doing a dirty job.
Iran has shown what they would do with a nuke. Yeah.
To do it.
Imagine they would be nuking Israel like boom, like that. Come on.
It's really a shame. Pardon? Well, I think I'm not in a position to reveal what we are going to do in response to what Americans did last night. I just talked about the fact that NPT failed to protect Iran from and its peaceful nuclear program. And this is a serious challenge.
Next, we'd like to take a question from IRIB. IRIB, if I can get a question from IRIB.
Yılmaz Parlar, Türkiye Gazetesi, Türkiye Cumhuriyeti'nden çıkan gazete.
I'm from a Turkic newspaper and also representing Net News Agency.
İran'a destek verdiği söyleniyor.
It is indicated that China is supporting Iran.
Tarafından caydırıcı olmasını nasıl
Right.
değerlendiriyorsunuz?
And Russia.
Evaluate its deterrence power vis-a-vis USA and
North Korea.
Israel, and can we learn your expectations about your relations with the Russian Federation?
Well, there was a problem with the...
They're all working together.
Or I think with the device, it doesn't work properly. I understood the last part of your question. Well, I'm going to Moscow this afternoon, and I have a meeting with President Putin tomorrow morning. Russia is a friend of Iran, and
you're supplying them with your drones.
A strategic partnership, and we always consult with each other. And
Putin's going to give you technical advice on what USA is doing.
Participants of JCPOA, so they have been always a party to nuclear negotiations, and even in the past 2-3 months that we were negotiating with the United States, we always briefed our Russian friends about.
Can't forget about corporate greed. That's why your gas goes up instantly at the gas pump, even though the gas they're pumping is like old gas in the ground.
Well, I will have serious consultations with the Russian president tomorrow, and we continue to work with each other. Russia is also a permanent member of the Security Council, and we know that they were trying, together with China, to introduce a resolution to the Security Council for the cessation of hostilities. Obviously, now the situation has been changed, and I will have a discussion with them at how it should be proceed.
The final question from IRIB, if we can hand over the microphone to the gentleman right there. Thank you.
خسته نباشید آقای عراقچی. از خدمتتون که دیروز آقای اردوغان صحبت‌هایی داشتن در مورد میانجیگری، فکر می‌کنید نقش ترکیه در این رابطه به چه ترتیب خواهد بود؟ میتونه ترکیه
Thank you. Yesterday, President Erdogan mentioned a mediation instrument. Can Turkey handle such a diplomacy or mediation activity?
اردوغان رئیس جمهور محترم ترکیه داشتم. هم ترکیه
I had very productive meetings with the President of the Republic of Turkey yesterday, and I also had contacts with some of the countries of the region. Some of the countries of the region, such as Turkey, are indicating that they could be mediating so that the
lots of useful, important meetings with the foreign ministers of our region, and we discussed about different initiatives and ideas existed for a peaceful settlement of this question. But as all of you know, we suddenly faced with the aggression
I saw that
by American forces
That's funny.
to our nuclear facilities.
Yeah, but he worked at McDonald's. Trump worked at McDonald's there, serving him up.
United States
Remember that?
Brutal military aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities. It is an outrageous, grave, and unprecedented violation of the fundamental principles of the Charter of the United Nations and international law. The warmongering and lawless administration in Washington is solely and fully responsible for the dangerous consequences and far-reaching implications of its act of aggression. The U.S. military attack on the territorial integrity and national sovereignty of a UN member state
but you're
carried out
unaliving all the people in your country.
Carried out
all the Persian people in your country.
With the genocidal Israeli regime.
That's where the genocidal part is. Your own people.
The extent of the United States hostility towards the peace-seeking people of Iran.
No, it's not a peaceful country at all.
Their independence.
Not from what we're seeing.
The Islamic Republic of Iran continue to defend Iran's territory, sovereignty, security, and people by all means necessary, against not just U.S. military aggression, but also the reckless and unlawful actions of the Israeli regime. while President Trump was elected on a platform of putting an end to America's costly involvement of forever wars in our part of the world, he has betrayed not only Iran,
it's going to be a forever war,
losing our commitment to diplomacy, but also
no, not another
his
one.
own voters by submitting to the wishes of a wanted war criminal who has grown accustomed to exploiting the lives and wealth of American citizens to further the Israeli regime's objectives. The U.S. act of aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities constitutes
peaceful nuclear facilities. You don't need 90% enriched uranium for peaceful purposes.
2 paragraph 4.
That's the point.
And the obligation to respect the state's territorial integrity and sovereignty, but also a violation of UN Security Council Resolution 2231.
Wow. Might have a point there.
Emphasized enough how much of a devastating blow.
Interesting to listen to
member of the Security
the Islamic regime side of this.
To the global non-proliferation regime. The Islamic Republic of Iran reminds the United Nations, the Security Council, the UN Secretary General, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and other relevant international bodies of their duty and responsibility to take urgent and decisive action in response to this breach of international law.
They can't do anything.
In the face of such blatant,
they could go, no, bad boy, Trump. Don't do that.
Unprecedented level of danger and chaos.
And Trump will go,
has come too far.
Screw you guys.
To allow a lawless bully to take us back to the law of the jungle.
We're taking care of a problem in the Middle East. That's what we're doing.
On the Security Council to convene an emergency session to unequivocally condemn the criminal act of aggression by the United States against Iran and to hold the administration in Washington accountable for its violations of fundamental principles of United Nations Charter and of norms of international law. The responsibility of the IAEA and its Director General, who through evidence bias in favor of warmongering parties paved the way for the current violence and bloodshed, is now clearer than ever. We call on the IAEA Board of Governors to immediately convene and carry out its legal responsibility in response to the dangerous U.S. attack on Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities, all of which have been under the agency's full safeguards and monitoring. The world must not forget that it was the United States which, in the midst of a process to forge a diplomatic outcome, betrayed diplomacy by supporting the genocidal Israeli regime's launch of an illegal war of aggression on the Iranian nation. Not content with such malign actions, the United States itself has now also opted for a dangerous military operation and aggression against the people of Iran. In doing so, the U.S. administration holds sole and full responsibility for the consequences of its actions.
I supported him.
The Islamic Republic of Iran's right to self-defense under the principles of the United Charter. In accordance with the UN Charter and its provisions allowing a legitimate response in self-defense, Iran reserves all options to defend its security interests.
Crazy times we're living in.
Thank you very much.
We will now be taking questions. We'd like to start with the Associated Press.
AP. Give him a bottle of water. Vodka. A telescope. It's probably vodka. Sucker back.
Distinguished Minister, are the doors for negotiation still open?
Of course.
Can you hear me now? Distinguished Minister, the question is as follows. Is the door for negotiations still open?
No translation.
The device is not working. Here, I'll translate for you. Are negotiations still open?
Interpreter, please speak.
They're pretty softball questions.
Can you hear me,
Come on,
sir?
AP, you can do better than that.
In the English channel, can you hear me?
Ask him where the new Holomania is.
For my
the
colleague.
cardboard dude.
He's asking if there are still room for negotiations moving forward.
No. It's all right now. You can it's translate is okay.
Sayın Bakan, Ahmet Ghanam من التلفزيون العربي müzakere hala kapı açık mı görüyorsunuz?
You got to speak in Iranian.
Negotiation door still open. Did you contact Tehran? What kind of damage has been incurred on the nuclear facilities? Is there any intermediary country like Turkey, like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar? Are you continuing your such activities of mediation? How do you see the process? Thank you.
Have to fix the audio there.
Been in touch with Tehran, of course. I still do not have exact information about the level of damages. But
it's blowed up, basically.
It matters how much damages
they blowed them up.
Made.
All those centrifuges are like
by itself
200 feet underground. They used a bunker buster to nail that sucker.
And should be condemned. Yesterday, as I said, I had discussion and talks with a number of foreign ministers of the region.
Hey, thanks for watching on Facebook.
All of them are very much concerned and interested to play a role to end this aggression by Israel, of course. They were worried about a possible attack by the United States, but yesterday we were all
sorry, I hate to tell you, but Jesus is dead.
How to stop the Israeli aggression.
His blood dried up probably about 0 AD.
Of course, the door for diplomacy should be always keep open, but this is not the case right now. My country has been under attack, under aggression, and we have to respond based on our legitimate right of self-defense. And
quit killing your own people.
As long as
unaliving.
Necessary.
We'd now like to take a question from Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera. Oh no. I have to monkey with the audio here. I'm shifting the left, right. Making it mono.
Thank you very much, Minister. So you say that you need to respond right now, but we know that Iranians are known for their talents in negotiations, in diplomacy and trade. What would be the conditions after
which ones? Persians or the Islamic?
To come back to a negotiation table, maybe with the U.S. as well. And Turkey has been offering that Ankara can mediate for a trilateral.
Ankara, I was there.
U.S. and Iran. What would be your response to that? Because right now the U.S. is technically
Ankara is in the Turkey on the way to Iran.
Well, I think it is irrelevant.
Stayed in a little jumpy hotel there once.
Return to diplomacy, because we were in the middle of diplomacy. We were in the middle of talks with the United States.
Are you exposing anything?
Israelis blew it up. And again,
I supported them.
talks and
That's what
negotiations
Telescope
with
said.
Europeans happened only 2 days ago in Geneva, when this time Americans decided to blow it up. So
those lies.
we were in diplomacy, but we were attacked.
I used to stream on Twitch all the time, but
So it was not
Twitch is
Iran,
like a
US.
lefty platform, and they don't like right wingers
diplomacy.
over there.
They
There were other
betrayed
guys
negotiations
that streamed like I did over
When
there on
at the
Twitch
middle of
that gave up over
negotiations
there.
with us, they
And, you know, I gave them a good go.
gave
I've streamed for
green light
years on
to
Twitch,
Israelis,
and what? You get
if
like
not
200
instructed
subs.
them to attack Iran's nuclear facilities.
That's why I would rather stream on Kick than on Twitch.
I think they have proved that
I saw your pusher
men of diplomacy,
stream on Twitch
and they
there
only
today.
understand the language of threat and force. And this is very unfortunate. The United States showed
Got a friend.
that they have no respect
Telescope.
to United Nations Charter. They have no respect to
No,
international law.
Trump doesn't like NATO, doesn't like UN,
They have no respect
doesn't like any of that crap.
to any international
We all know that.
regarding,
Hey,
managing the board.
you ever hear
And
Trump's way or the highway?
of the board. There is no red line that they have not crossed. And the
Don't
last one,
mess with
the most
Trump.
dangerous one was happened only last night
Don't piss off Trump.
when they crossed a very big red line by attacking nuclear facilities.
Ooh.
I don't know how much
That's what they wanted to attack.
for diplomacy.
That's what the war is all about. It's to destroy your nuclear facilities so you can't make a bomb.
the damages. And as I said, the damages are not only for our nuclear facilities, the damages are for the United Nations Charter. It was not
I always
only
get that
Iran's
wrong.
Facilities which was bombed, it was also the United Nations Charter. It was also non-proliferation regime and NPT, which was
Yeah,
bombed
Telescope.
last
Get
night
married
by
already.
Americans.
Come on.
And it was
Go out and buy her a diamond ring
the rule of law
and propose to her.
and international law which was bombed. So now we have to see
She's been your fiance for way
how much
too
room
long.
is left for diplomacy, and we will decide.
Should only be a fiance for like
I'd
about
like to
2
hand over
years.
to your
Anything
team.
more than 2 years is too long. Exactly.
Mr. Minister, the U.S. President Donald Trump warned that Iran must now make
Quit
peace,
living in sin.
otherwise the
Both your
future
parents
attacks,
don't
he
like it.
says, would be far greater and much easier. So how is Tehran responding to that threats from Washington? Thank you.
I think
Death
it's
threats.
up to Iran to respond to that. The whole international community should respond
He's already bombed those Ayatollahs
such
and
a
that
clear
those
threat
people.
against the United Nations Charter. Iran has done nothing wrong.
Hang on.
We
Trump
do-
is
we
getting
do not
death threats from
understand
Iran too.
why Iran should be attacked
Goes both ways.
for a false
And
accusation
Iran
that
threatened
Iran is
death threats
seeking
against
nuclear
America first.
It's now more than 20 years that we are trying to prove that our peaceful,
It's like
peaceful
death to
nuclear
America.
program
How many times have you heard that? Right?
and would remain peaceful. We
It's Iran that's always
negotiated
threatening.
for a long time with the so-called P5+1,
We will bomb you when we make the
We came to
nuclear
the
bomb.
deal, which the whole world celebrated as an achievement of diplomacy. And then it was the U.S. who withdrew from that deal
Can't make
and
this shit up.
reimposed their sanctions and restarted their threats. Again, we were negotiating with the same administration. Then all of a sudden they decided to attack us, first by Israelis, then by themselves.
I don't know if I have Twitch on my
And now they are threatening us.
setup
for
here.
more
I do.
attacks.
I can actually.
So it's not up to Iran, but it's up to international community to condemn this, to prevent this. Otherwise,
If I stop streaming on X right now.
nothing left.
Okay, I'll
for
stop streaming on X. Okay.
Law.
Anyone watching on X right now? Type in the chat if you're watching on X.
At the word level,
nobody types in the chat, then
the Security Council should play its role.
I'll stop the
Should play its
stream
responsibility to prevent
on X and
to
stream on
condemn and
Twitch.
prevent these kind of threats. We will certainly
The problem is that
interest,
your stream doesn't get saved on Twitch, whereas on X it does get saved. Facebook gets saved for 1 month and then they delete it.
fully understand what injustice they are doing against the Iranian people. They are united and in solidarity with the government, and they stand firm against any aggression.
Next, CNN Turk.
CNN. Ooh, that's lefty. Softball question
Mr.
coming up.
Minister, how do you assess the West's stance on Israel massacres? No one seems to mention Israel's allegedly illegal nuclear weapons. The German Chancellor even said Israel is doing the dirty work for us. So what is your response? Thank you.
That guy always stands up when she talks.
You said everything. That Iran is under attack by a nuclear-armed superpower and a nuclear-armed regime. And Iran, as you know, is a nuclear-armed country. That should be certainly condemned. If not, the whole non-proliferation regime would be undermined and would be defeated. Iran is a committed member of NPT. But NPT is not able to protect us. So why a country like Iran or other countries who are interested to have a peaceful nuclear energy should rely on NPT for their peaceful activity?
Like I said, I streamed on Twitch for years.
It is very unfortunate.
Like, remember when you were streaming the convoy and that? I was restreaming on Twitch that whole time.
A dirty job. And by the way, they supported
that. But because I'm a right-winger, Twitch doesn't like right-wingers.
It's a shame.
So they never promote your
They
stream.
know that Israel is doing
That's
a
the problem,
and they support
Twitch.
it, and they give it every right to do it, and they call it defending itself. It's very.
The U.S. is defending Israel. That's why they're both teaming up to take out the nuclear rogue nation of Iran.
I think I'm not in a position to reveal.
I was on Rumble for a while too.
To what Americans did last night. I just talked about the fact.
I just find that I get the most traction on where I am right now, which is Facebook,
and it's
YouTube, and X.
And this is
and actually, I'm making income on Facebook, Fry. Like last month, I made $100 off of Facebook. You know, not a whole bunch, but you know, making a little bit over there.
IRIB, if I can get a question from IRIB.
Yeah, I can show nudity.
Yılmaz Parlar, Türkiye Gazete, Türkiye Cumhuriyeti'nde çıkan gazete.
I'm
Holy.
a Turkic newspaper and also representing Net News Agency. It is indicated that China is supporting Iran.
Yeah, I fixed the audio.
How do you evaluate its
Got rid of
deterrence
him.
power vis-a-vis USA and Israel?
made her
And
mono.
can we learn your expectations about your relations with the Russian Federation?
Well, there was a problem with the translation, or I think with the device, it doesn't work properly. I understood the last part.
Hang
of
on.
the question.
This is a repeat because we already saw this.
This afternoon.
This is like on a loop.
Meeting with President.
So,
Putin
anyways,
tomorrow morning.
I think we've heard enough of this guy here, right?
He's a friend of Iran.
So let's get rid of him.
And we enjoy.
And let's move on to some other programming. What else can we come up with here? Maybe listen to Trump for a second here. Okay, Trump. What does Trump have to say?
Are you willing to have in this war?
Well, as I said before, when you have conflict, it's been a very big 2 days, I have to say. And we'll be heading back to Washington, D.C. right after this. And I'd like to wish everyone a very good evening. And over the weekend, the United States military and the Israeli Defense Forces continued Operation Epic Fury very successfully. Over the past 9 days, we've carried out some of the most powerful and complex military strikes and maneuvers the world has ever seen. Now, you add that up to all of the other things, Midnight Hammer, getting rid of the nuclear threat from Iran, which was a big moment in history, in my opinion, and the great success we've had in Venezuela and all other places. Every place we've gone, we've had tremendous success. But while we're doing all of these things, we're achieving major strides toward completing our military objective. And some people could say they're pretty well complete. We've wiped every single force in Iran out very completely. Most of Iran's naval power.
I saw that. I was on Twitch watching your coin pusher there today.
50 ships.
And the people seem to be interacting with it there. That was pretty cool.
I didn't know they had that many. Didn't last very long. And these are fighting vessels. They're meant to fight, but they're not meant to fight against us. We continue to target Iran's drone and missile capabilities. Their drones are way down.
You can use a helper program
been hit starting
to do stuff.
You know, all of the places
let me see what's it called now.
Drones, and they're being hit one after another. Their missile capability is down to about 10%, maybe less. We're also hitting where they make missiles and where they deliver missiles. We've struck over 5,000 targets to date, some of them very major targets, and we've left some of the most important targets for later.
Check out a program called SAMI.
It's going to take many years for
SAMMI Core.
Having to do with.
See if that can do something for you. SAMI Core. SAMMI
We're not
Core.
looking to do that if we don't have to.
Because
but they're the kind
I
of
was
things
doing that
hit,
to have people in my chat change the
waiting to see what happens.
You know what they see on which window they look at
in one day.
I don't know if that will work or
but it's all
work with your
resulting
bot.
in a 90% decline in various
SAMMI Core.
Iranian missile launches
works with YouTube.
And 83% drop in drone launchers. As you know, the drone launchers are pretty well shot, but we're at over 90% decline in the Iranian missile launchers, which is very hard to reproduce and very hard to get. And usually what we were able to do through great equipment, a lot of smart people, as soon as they sent a missile up from a launcher, we were able to knock out that launcher within a period of 5 minutes or less, accurately right on the noggin. So now we have low-cost interceptors effectively combating Iranian drones, and our B-2 bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound bombs to destroy missile launchers all over Iran and buried deep under Iranian soil in many cases. The soil was no match. And we're also annihilating the manufacturing base that the regime uses to build drones and missiles at a rate that nobody thought was possible. We're knocking them out. We know where they all are. We're knocking them out very quickly. We're ahead of our initial timeline by a lot. I would say that we probably would not have thought after a month we'd be here. In addition to the fact that we've taken out the leadership twice and maybe 3 times. And we, as you know, we want to be involved. We don't want another president that maybe wouldn't be willing to do what I'm willing to do for the good of the world, for the good of our nation, to be stuck with the situation in 5 years or 10 years from now. So we think they should put a president in or the head of the country in that's going to be able to do something peacefully for a change.
They need a democracy where they can vote
killing people for
the leader,
years. Whether it's
instead
the
of an
Barracks
installed
or even the SS
Ayatollah.
Cole, where they were involved very strongly. They always denied it, but where they were very strongly involved, and all of the people that died through the roadside bombs died and are right now walking around with no legs, no arms, a face that's been so badly damaged. The Iranian regime has been attacking Americans and spreading terror for 47 years, and despite these countless opportunities to renounce their nuclear ambitions, which they had just a short while ago, they told Mr. Witkoff, who is standing right over here, they said, they actually said, we want to keep building. Essentially, in a real nutshell, we want to continue to build nuclear weapons. If we didn't knock out Midnight Hammer, if we didn't knock out their Iranian potential, if we didn't do that with Midnight Hammer, they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have used it long before now. And at a minimum, Israel would have been annihilated. It was very lucky
Fry,
that we had the courage
check out
to do
this
that,
here.
that we had the talented
Check that out if
pilots
you want
and
to
the great
stream on
equipment. The
YouTube,
B-2 bombers are
because that might give you the
25 more, by the way. The newer
thing that you need to,
better
the
version.
interface between chat and your
We have
whatever
the
you want to
greatest military
interface
in the
it
world.
to.
We have the greatest equipment in the world by far. You see that no matter where we go. You still need the people, though, to operate it and to use it. And those are the people that we cherish. Even after we obliterated their key nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, they never negotiated in good faith. They still continued to say, we want to build nuclear. We want enrichment at levels that were unacceptable. And they even turned down an offer for unlimited free nuclear fuel forever for civilian purposes. We had people offering them free nuclear fuel. They weren't interested in that because they wanted to build a nuclear weapon. So instead, the regime was trying to reconstitute its weapons program at a different site. They couldn't go back to where they were, the 3 sites that we obliterated, but they were starting work at another site, a different site, different kind of a site, and that was protected by granite. They wanted it protected. Granite's pretty good, but they wanted it protected by a lot deeper. They wanted to go a lot deeper, and they started the process while rapidly building conventional ballistic missiles. They were going to do it all at the same time. It threatened our overseas bases and soon could have reached even our homeland. The regime's intention was to use this exponentially growing ballistic missile threat to make it virtually impossible to prevent them from obtaining a nuclear weapon. So as you probably saw, they had a tremendous number of missiles, most of which are now being used or destroyed, and very unsuccessfully used because we have been able, for the most part, to shoot them all down. What incredible technology. The Patriots have been unbelievable, and other things.
Hey, Daniel. Good to
And
see
the
you.
laser technology that we have now is incredible. It's coming out pretty soon. We're literally
Happy
lasers.
Monday.
We'll do the work of.
It's Monday
at a
and
lot
oil
less
prices
cost,
are
do the
going
work
up.
of What the Patriots are doing or what other things are doing. The situation was very quickly approaching the point of no return, and the United States found it intolerable, in my opinion, based on what Steve and Jared and Pete and others were telling me. Marco,
looky.
involved, that I thought that they were gonna
WTI
attack
crude
us.
is over
I thought they
$100
would- if
now.
we didn't do this at the time we did it, I think they had in mind to attack us. And if you notice, they did something which was very foolish, very stupid, I would say. They attacked their neighbors, and their neighbors were largely neutral, or at least weren't going to be involved.
Oh, Wirelight.
And they
That's
got
Wirelight. I didn't know that.
And it had the reverse effect. The neighbors came onto our side and started attacking them.
guys with
and
alt
actually
never figure
quite
out who you are.
successfully. If you look at Saudi Arabia, you look at UAE, Qatar, and others, but they were strong and they were smart, but they got attacked.
I saw you
Nobody- when I
on
first
Lincoln
heard it, I
Keynes
said, "No,
over there.
Somebody made a mistake." There was no mistake. UAE had over 1,000 missiles shot at it, knocked them almost all
I think
down.
you were talking about
On
exotic
the very
cars
first day
over
it
there,
came down the
or with
escalator
those
in
guys who were
2015,
talking
I
about
said,
that.
Quote,
I was
stop
listening.
Iran from getting nuclear weapons.
I have a 91
and
Mustang.
All I'm doing is keeping my promise. Think of
And
that.
I had
That was in
a
2015. I said it was a threat then, and
I had a
much bigger
Camaro
threat
with
now,
like 700
but
horsepower.
no longer a threat. Not for a long time.
A
anyway.
2014
We want
Camaro.
to keep it that way as we continue Operation Epic Fury. We're also focused on
So I know what it's like to have a
energy
fast car.
and oil flowing to the world.
Lots of
And I will
fun.
not allow a terrorist regime
Dangerous,
to
but
hold
fun.
the world hostage and attempt to stop the.
I still
global
have
oil
my
supply.
91
And if
Mustang,
Iran
though.
does
I like that
anything to
little
do
car.
that, they'll get hit at a
It doesn't
much,
have a supercharger or anything,
harder
but it's
level.
still
I will take out those
can burn rubber.
targets that were easy and that I mentioned just before. We'll take them out
Fun to
so
drive.
quickly they'll never be able to recover ever. If they want to play that game, they better not play that game. In the long run, oil supplies will
Oh
be
man,
dramatically more
he
secure
usually
without the
buys.
threat of
I would
Iranian
guess
ships, drones,
350
missiles, nuclear
subs.
menace,
I think is what he actually
or
buys
anything,
on
so
every
the
stream.
Strait
So
of
anything from
Hormuz
350
is going
up
to
is his actual
remain safe. We have a lot of baby ships
viewers.
there. We have the
So
best
it's like,
equipment in the world.
you know, he might
inspecting for
have
mines.
30 to 50
Again,
people
most of
watching.
these ships are down at the bottom of the sea, but we will hit them so hard that it will not be possible
That's
for
my
them or
guess,
anybody
anyway.
else helping them to ever recover that section of the world if they do anything. In recent years, the regime and its terror proxies have launched attacks on hundreds of commercial vessels. We're putting an end to all of this threat once and for all, and the result will be lower oil
Oh yeah,
prices.
yeah.
Oil and
I've been
gas
watching him for a
prices
while.
for American families. We've
Absolutely.
done that. We've done it. We
Well,
brought it very low.
I
This
know
was
the
just
guy.
an
The guy that
excursion
he
into
buys
something
subs from approached me
that had to be
to,
done.
or not subs,
Getting
viewers.
very close to finishing that.
The guy
In the
that
meantime,
he buys
during this
views
brief
from approached
disruption,
me
the United States is
to
offering
get me to
political
buy
risk insurance to any
views for
tankers
my
operating in
channel
the
too.
Gulf. So we're putting up.
So I know
risk
exactly who he buys them
insurance.
from there as well. It's
Perhaps
East Indian guy.
go alongside of them for protection. We don't think it'll be necessary. If it is, and if they do anything, the price will be incalculable.
87.
It will be so great that they will have wished.
Okay, well, I
they
own
did it.
something like that. I own,
Because you have to
it's
keep
parked
the
in my
straits
garage, an 88
With
Monte
all of
Carlo
that, it affects
SS
other countries
black,
much more than it does the United States. It doesn't really affect us.
which
We have
is
so
really
much
similar
oil.
to your
We have tremendous
Cutlass.
oil and gas.
It had
much more
the
than we need.
305 high
We have
output.
Venezuela now as our new partner. Great
Well, it
partner.
has.
They've worked out.
I haven't
so
driven it
wonderful.
in
We're
years.
working
It's
with
been parked for a
the
long time.
administration, the president, and it's a massive source of oil, gas, everything. But
yeah, nice car.
we're in a very good position, but very unfair to other parts of the world, like China as an example. I mean, we're doing this for the other parts of the world, including countries
A friend
like
of mine
China.
had the
They get
Cutlass,
a lot of their oil through
and he
the
upgraded to the
Straits. So we're doing
Grand
this. We have a
National,
very good relationship
and I got
with
the
President Xi in China. I'm going there in a short
Monte
period of
Carlo
time,
SS.
and we're protecting the.
But I should have got the
world
Grand National.
from what these lunatics are trying to do, and very successfully, I might add. We're also waiving certain oil-related sanctions to reduce prices. So we have sanctions on some countries. We're going to take those sanctions off till this straightens out. Then who knows, maybe we won't have to put them on. There'll be so much peace. But when the time comes, the U.S. Navy and its partners will escort tankers through the strait if needed.
Okie dokie.
I hope it's not going to be needed, but if it's needed, we'll escort them right through. And we have the greatest mine-sweeping ability. We have the greatest.
What's he going to do, though? Is he going to
all
go
of them.
boots
We
on
know
the ground?
exactly
Listen to what he
where they're
says here.
placed. We'll get them out of there very fast, but we hope we don't have any of that. And again, if they do that, if
Like,
they
what
play
the hell
that
can you
game,
do at this
we're going to
point?
hit them at a level that they have not seen before. So we're winning very decisively. We're way ahead of schedule. Our military is the greatest in the world, with the greatest equipment and the greatest people in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Iran's a very powerful country. They were going to take over the Middle East. If we did not hit them, they were going to take over the Middle East. They had thousands and thousands since their last hit. They had thousands and thousands of missiles and everything else. Most are now destroyed. But they were going to take over the Middle East. Those weapons were aimed at Middle Eastern countries that had nothing to do with this. They were going to take over the Middle East, and they were going to try and destroy Israel. So we stopped it with good timing, and we're very proud to be involved in this, and it's going to be ended soon. And if it starts up again, they'll be hit even harder. Thank you very much for being here. Go ahead. Any questions?
Ooh. Boots on the ground. That's what the
so
question
much.
is.
Go ahead.
Do you approve of Iran's new supreme leader? And secondly, can you tell us more about your call with Russian President Vladimir Putin today?
Yes.
What did you discuss?
Yes, I had a very good call with President Putin. We had a lot of people on the line from our side, from his side. We were talking about Ukraine, which is just a never-ending fight. And look, there's tremendous hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky. They can't seem to get it together. But I think it was a positive call on that subject. And we obviously talked then about the Middle East. And he wants to be helpful. I said, you could be more helpful by getting the Ukraine-Russia war over with. That would be more helpful. But we had a very good talk, and he wants to be very constructive. Yeah, please.
Putin is starting to lose that war with Ukraine.
You called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over? Are
No,
you talking
but soon.
about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very
to
soon. Look, everything they have is gone, including their leadership. In fact, there are two levels of leadership, and even actually, as it turns out, more than that. But two levels of leadership are gone. Most people have never even heard about the leaders that they're talking about. So it's obviously been very, very powerful, very effective.
to Cuba, you said that Cuba wants to make a deal.
Yes.
What would the United States get in return for that, and why should Americans trust Marco Rubio to negotiate it?
Well, Marco Rubio is doing a great job. I think he's going to go down as the greatest Secretary of State in history. Look at what we've done as a presidency. Look at what we've done as an administration.
Why shouldn't they trust him?
They trust Marco, and so do the American
Sounds like a
people
lefty
trust. He's
media
been
question.
successful no matter where he's been. He also speaks the language, which is always nice and always helpful. But he's dealing, and it may be a friendly takeover. It may not be a friendly takeover. It wouldn't matter because they're down to, as they say, fumes. They have no energy. They have no money. They're in deep trouble on a humanitarian
We watched earlier where they bombed some.
we don't want to see that, but they were very, very
I don't know whether
bad
it was
to a lot of people, as you know, and a lot of
police
people
station
living
or
the Cuban American vote,
government
which I
office
got
or something there. They're bombing a
record
bunch of
levels.
stuff there in Cuba.
very
Firebombing.
important. Those people are very important to me. I know what they went through. They went through hell. Some of them have gone on to be some of the most successful people in the country. Cuban American business people, some of them are like the most successful in the country. And a lot of them are friends of mine because I've been fighting this battle with them for a long time. The Castro regime was brutal, but they lived off Venezuela. Now they don't live off Venezuela. Sends them no energy, no fuel, no oil, no money, no nothing. They lived without Venezuela.
Hey, good night, Samuel.
And we cut
I
them
agree.
off from everything else. So
They're in the same outhouse.
they're going to make either a deal or we'll do it just as easy anyway. Yeah. Please, go ahead.
Strike and a Tomahawk missile likely destroyed that Iranian girls' school. So will the U.S. accept any responsibility?
Well, I
for that
haven't
strike?
seen it, and I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by other countries, you know that. And whether it's Iran, who also has some Tomahawks, I wish they had more.
That's where
But
he
whether it's Iran or
doesn't
somebody
admit
else, the
that
fact
America
a tomahawk is very generic. and
bombed
sold to
that
other countries.
girls' school.
But that's being investigated.
But I think now they found out that it was a
please.
miscalculation. They thought that it was a military
Mr. President,
spot.
you said the war is, quote, very complete, but your defense secretary says this is just the beginning. So which is it, and how long should Americans be prepared
Well, I think
for
you could
this war
say
to
it
last
both.
for?
It's the beginning of building a new country, but they have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment. It's all been blown up. They have no radar, they have no telecommunications, and they have no leadership. It's all gone. So, you could look at that statement. We could call it a tremendous success right now as we leave here. I could call it, or we could go further, and we're going to go further. But the big risk on that war has been over for 3 days. We wiped them out in the first 2 days. When you think about it, it's incredible. We wiped out a big Navy, very powerful Navy. You know, these were ships, these were serious ships. These were ships that you buy when you want to win battles. They're all on the bottom floor. The sailors are all running off their ships. They refuse to get on the ships. The Air Force is gone. Everything's gone. The missiles are down to a trickle. The drones are down to probably 25%, and they'll soon be down to nothing. We'll have where they manufactured the drones are under fire. As we speak, they're being hit. So the rest is going to be a determination as to my attitude, along with the people in the Trump administration, what we want to do. Thank you. Yeah, please.
Can I ask you, you mentioned you were going to waive certain additional oil waivers or sanctions. Can you talk a little bit more about that and address in particular?
Well, we're looking to keep the oil prices down. We went artificially up because of this excursion into a very positive thing. I mean, this was an excursion that a lot of people wouldn't have done. I knew oil prices would go up if I did this, and they've gone up probably less than I thought they'd go up. But I don't think anybody thought we were going to be this quickly successful.
60 to 100.
A military success, the likes of which people haven't seen. We have the best military. We have the best equipment. We have, I believe, the best generals. We have the best. And this went very quickly. We talked about that with President Putin. He was very impressed with what he saw because nobody's ever seen anything quite like it.
If that strait doesn't open up soon, this price will just keep on going up.
With all of the missiles. Now,
and look at, as we sit here and watch, it's going up.
With us in Israel, and that knocked them for a loop. Then you had the B-2 bombers, which took out
when I started my stream,
it
was under 100.
A nuclear weapon within 2 weeks to 4 weeks. And they would have used it long before this press conference. And we might have had a much different press conference if we had a press conference at all. But it's been amazing. The military success that we've had is truly unprecedented.
You've told your congressional colleagues that you will not sign any piece of legislation until the Save America Act is passed. Does that include the confirmation of Senator Mullen as your next DHS secretary? Does that mean a DHS funding bill? And Senator Thune said today, it's not a matter of whether or not your Republican colleagues agree with the policy, it's about changing the process. In other words, getting rid of the filibuster to get there.
So in order to get it, you're going to need Democrat votes. And what we're saying is the Save America, not the SAVE Act, which nobody knew what it was, the Save America Act, the Save America Act. And that's voter ID. We want voter ID. When a voter, we want to be able to see a picture of the voter. We want to be able to see that the voter is legitimate. We want, very importantly, confirmation that this voter
absolutely picture ID
of the United States of America, and we want no
fake voters,
ballot scams. So we have exceptions for the military, for sick, for disabled, and for people that are away, business trips or whatever. Even vacations will be very liberal in that. We've added two things to it: no men in women's sports and no transgender mutilization of our children. We don't want it's mutilization of our children, and we don't want that.
No transgender.
So we added those two things. That's the 5 points. We have 5 very good points. It polls at 86% with Democrats. Think of that. The overall vote is 86%. With Republicans, it's 98%. And the only one opposed to it is a Democrat leadership because they cheat. They want to cheat. So we added those 2 points. We're going for the gold, and we're going to have to fight like hell. Now, certain things will happen.
Okay, everyone. I'm getting pretty tired. It's pretty late at night here for me. It's about 2:32 in the evening, and I'm starting to get a little drowsy here. And the last thing that I want to do is fall asleep on the stream, right? Like it's one thing that I don't want to do. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Yeah, they need to fix the voting system. Yeah, exactly. So you don't have, like you need, to say, oh, you don't need ID to vote. that's like you want people that are illegal aliens and all kind of people that are going to vote more than once and fake ID and or not no ID or whatever, or go into a different polling station around town and just say you're somebody else. Like, come on, you need photo ID to make the thing work correctly, and there's no fool around with that. Fry TV, good to see you. Keep working hard on the radio stations there, and hopefully Tricks TV works out for you there, and you get lots of people watching. Yeah, it's tough. You know what these channels are like? I don't know. Maybe do Tricks on your Fry TV where you got thousands of subs on there. I don't know. Maybe that'll help. You never know. But anyways, I'm going to pull the pin on it here and hit the hay. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Do appreciate your company. And we will see you the next time that we have a little bit of fun. So bye-bye for now. Take care. Stay out of trouble. And if you can't stay out of trouble, dance a little.
Breaking news, it tempers again. Everybody's mad online. Parliament's debating while the comment section's losing minds. Protests in the streets tonight, banners in the rain. Tommy grabs the microphone and tries to stay sane. Left side shouting, right side too. Everybody's certain that their headline's true, but somewhere in the noise another page. Welcome to Tommy Temper, where the facts get checked and the jokes get better. From Canada out to the world's wild weather, we talk it out, maybe laugh together. Yeah, the chaos rolls, but we still remember. Keep your cool with Tommy Temper. Convoys rolling, speeches fly, cameras everywhere. Experts argue nightly like it's political warfare. But Tommy pours another coffee, smiles at the scene, says common sense still fits somewhere in between. Trending topics, outrage storm, everyone declaring the new world norm. But reason sneaks, spasm and a folding chair. Welcome to Tommy Temper. News and nonsense mixed together. Serious talk, but light as a feather. Laugh through storms, we can't control forever. When tensions rise, just regroup and center. Tune it in with Tommy Temper. Take a breath, check the source. Debate without going full force. Disagree, but keep it clever. We're all riding this ride together. Welcome to Tommy Temper, where calm survives the loudest pressure. Truth with humor, that's the measure. Making sense of the global theater. News gets wild, but hearts stay gentler. Stay reasonable with Tommy Temper. Remember, folks, if everybody's yelling, somebody's got to bring snacks and logic.
Come on. Sometimes we need somebody to bring those snacks and logic. So don't forget them next time. See you later. Thanks for ITV. And everybody out there that's lurking, take care. Stay out of trouble. Bye-bye for